Welcome to the Nerdtastic In 3D podcast.
It's Nerdtastic in 3D. Oh, it's Nerdtastic in 3D. Yes, it's Nerdtastic in 3D. It's Nerdtastic in 3D.
It just feels weird with that in here.
Bonging.
I don't know.
Hump
Hey.
day.
Yeah! There it is. Reverence.
And welcome to Nerdtastic in 3D, episode number
71.
71.
I had no idea.
Yes,
Why don't we say it in Spanish?
You've just come in
He
and
just
out.
says one word.
I translate in the best
really
Spanish I
saying it in
know.
Spanish.
It's the most phonetically.
Phonetic?
Siete uno doesn't cut it anymore?
I guess literal.
Literal
He's
numbers? Really just saying two numbers.
Uno.
We are an entertainment podcast comprised of a bunch of dudes, and now, for the first time ever...
Third time.
Well, the
Actually,
third,
it's like
the
fourth,
third,
isn't
it? time.
The fourth
Yeah.
time.
She's been around the block.
But now officially,
Yeah.
Part of the crew.
part of the crew, our own little
With her measly salary of $0.
Liz.
I'm gonna.
Liz
earn
Aaron,
every penny
everyone.
of that.
Liz Herron.
Yay!
Yay!
Thank you. I'm super excited.
I'm Jack Deckler, crowds artist at DreamWorks Animation.
I'm Liz Herron, games user researcher at Disney Mobile.
I'm Sean Fennell.
You do.
I work.
We're just doing that
Yeah, I just
tonight.
work.
I
It's
just
going to be
work.
one of those nights where we tell people
What am
again
I?
what we do.
I'm a crowd supervisor and crowd department chair and probably one other thing.
Department.
All around badass.
Sounds
Yeah.
fancy.
Super badass.
Super badass
The
guy.
most badassiest guy that you've ever met.
And my name is Josh LeBron. I am a layout artist at DreamWorks Animation.
No spine.
We love you. We are down 2 men's tonight, possibly only one.
Yes.
If
I just got word
Our
that
other
Sean
missing-
Kearney is on his way.
He's on his way,
He
folks.
is en
the
route.
Kearney's going
For
to be
the
here because
second
God
time.
knows we can't talk about the
Kearneykins.
fucking new iPhone without him here.
No. Or Breaking
Which
Bad.
is good. Which is good because I want him here to slam on its amazement in both the plastic version and the metal version they released. But we are down our other brethren, Jason Carter, who is living the dream up in the land of Canada
Hey.
at Whistler.
Oh, yeah.
Raise your
Yeah.
hand if you're sad. Exactly.
We all raised for you, Jason, until this makes YouTube and you realize none of us raised our hands for you. Oh, and we're also down.
I
And
was
thank
gonna
you
say.
for chat. The guy we love
It's like
most
he's
of all.
here.
But it is like you're here, Jason Pecco.
Oh,
Our in-house PlayStation lover and tattoo guy.
aficionado.
And but he is
and
in,
fellow Chicagoan, I should
he is in the chat right now in our Mix I always know Mix XLR, but it's Mix LR
Mixler.
chat.
Get it
Mixler.
right.
Or like mix
Representing.
large.
Mix
And Jay says we cannot spoil Breaking Bad for him, and honestly me either,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I haven't seen it all. So I know, just keep it in.
I didn't finish it.
Keep
so
it in.
I'm ambivalent.
Walt's in quite a predicament right now. Let's just say that.
There's a lot going on.
When you said Walt, all I could think is, you took my son. I took my son. What was I supposed to do? Fucking Lost. That's the beauty of Lost.
Wow! Wow!
We gotta go back, Kate. We gotta go back, Kate. We gotta go back.
I'm taking them all back.
That's Goonies.
Wrong movie? Fuck.
Wrong island.
Wrong island.
Wrong group.
They weren't in an island, Liz, but
they
that's
were.
fine.
Well, they were on like a peninsula or something. It was surrounded by a lot of water.
Those are two different things, but fine.
Peninsula? I thought it was just the coastline.
No, I feel like there was like an inlet. There was like a.
They are on the coastline, yes.
I don't know. I just feel like there was a lot of water. I don't
Jason's
know if
been
it
there.
was
Not Pecco, but Carter.
In
to the
Seattle.
Goonies Island.
I think he did his.
It was up in
like,
Seattle.
His
Goonies Island.
what was it? His
Goonie Island?
bachelor
His
party.
bachelor
Didn't they
party.
do that? Yeah, they went to Goonie Island.
Yeah, no, he
Wow.
followed the Goonies trail.
Wow.
I know, right?
Some G-rated fun right there.
What kind of entertainment we bring to this show.
They all
gotta
shared.
hear about
They
this
all shared
story.
some
And as
sarsaparilla.
soon as Goonie Island is open, we're all there.
God. Woo, that's nerdy. That is nerdy.
Yeah. Well,
You sure you know what you've signed up for weekly? Which we reminded her, it is weekly.
We have a nerd corner.
I know, and I haven't signed anything.
Oh, it's been
technically I
signed.
Oh no, you signed the NDA, so that was also a form used.
You
to-
changed all our passwords. It's signed.
Oh, that's true.
Done.
Yeah. So fuck, what are we talking about tonight?
I don't know. Drive this train.
I don't know. You want me to get it going? You want me to talk about
Get on
some
this
stuff?
bus of,
Liz had stuff. I had some
I got some stuff.
We're gonna save.
Pecco's got some
Apple's,
stuff.
Apple's
Pecco's got some
bullshit.
stuff.
Pecco, you got some stuff?
Yeah.
Me and Sean
he gave me a
have
whole
nothing.
list of stuff to talk about.
I'm gonna talk about some. Maybe Pecco.
High five.
You know what? Damn, that's a
Yeah.
good one for Kearney too. So I don't want to start on that either. Well, shit. What are we going to talk? Liz, chime in.
Hey, what did you
Bring
guys
some
do this
woman
weekend?
crap.
What did you guys do this weekend? Because
Really?
I
Don't point out the obvious.
competed in a triathlon.
Did you?
I did. The Nautica Malibu Triathlon on Sunday.
Shit.
You
Did
made
you finish?
every nerd weep a little bit with that. What did you do this weekend? I went out. I did a fucking
She
triathlon.
asked so she could fucking tell her story.
I
That's the
did.
only reason she asked.
I did a personal best.
Hey, you know what the best
did
part
do
of
a
Facebook
personal
is?
best.
I can brag about my life. You know what the best part of podcast is? I can brag about my life. Go ahead, Liz.
Well,
What'd you do?
it was for a good cause. It's for kids with cancer. Children's
All right.
Hospital LA.
They're
Make
getting
us all feel
they get
No,
enough money.
Well, they get enough money. Do they?
That was
Do
Josh
they?
LeBron, everyone.
Yeah, you can send your hate mail to.
Yeah, the
Josh
one
LeBron
without
at
kids,
Nerd.
I should point out.
Care of.
Becca says we should talk about Miley Cyrus porn and videos.
Yeah.
Or maybe in
The Wrecking Ball video?
The wrecking ball?
Okay.
Where she's
The
naked?
Wrecking Ball video. Yeah.
We'll come back to that. So triathlon.
Yeah, so I was part of the Disney Tri team.
But it's
We
not
raised over
Iron
like
Man.
a quarter. No. Oh God.
So tell everybody what this
doing that.
consisted of. What did you have
This
to do?
was a half-mile open water swim, and a 18-mile bike ride, and then a 4-mile run.
in the Pacific,
Yeah, right off of Zuma Beach.
where the water's fucking cold.
Hella cold.
I don't think people.
It was 62
so
degrees.
we have listeners who don't live in California, and I think people don't ever realize. And I came from Florida, where you could just jump in the ocean. It's
Yep.
nice all the time. When you come to California, you think sun and just go to the beach, jump in. That fucking water is ridiculous.
Everybody always says that. They're like, I'd be at the beach all the time. It's like, fuck you. No, you would
That
not.
wa-
It's cold at the
No,
beach.
Yeah, it's the beach.
It'll be
sucks.
90 degrees outside. You're like, sweet, you go running towards the ocean. You get in that water, dude, and it's like 50.
Yeah.
And you just packed it with a bunch
cold.
of whales just hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
a
it
reason
was-
there's great white sharks in that water,
Yeah.
because they can be in that water.
It was 62 degrees, so it was, I guess, what they call like speed wetsuit.
Mad shrinkage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there were some guys in speedos, and you were like, dude, just put on a wet. Like
Yeah.
we see all of, or not all of.
Leaving nothing to the
Yeah,
imagination.
Oh my goodness.
I was in the
So-
water.
Did you wear your
Yeah.
like floaty wetsuit?
I did. I wore, well, because I went the day before to, like, you can rack your bike, you can put your bike up and like kind of set up your area, and I went and like kind of put my feet in the water, and I was like, oh, that's cold. So I hightailed it over to the booth that was selling wetsuits, and I said,
So you
take
don't
one of
even
those,
have
please.
one. I thought you had
No,
one.
I had a last year when I did it in a what they call like a spring suit, so it's like a short sleeve, like surf suit. And the water last year was 71 degrees, so it was nice because
That's
we
not
had
bad.
like a
Closer.
3-week heat wave. But yeah, no, I was not gonna do it without a wetsuit, and so I got a full wetsuit.
But like
and it was
those
great.
those wetsuits, I was told, like for that kind of stuff, like are like buoyant. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
can literally
They're
like
super
you
thick.
can't drown
No.
in these.
They're super thick.
Unless
and
your face.
Unless it's Sean was like, I think I'd find a way. Where he's like, I can't roll over.
the shark
turtle on
drags
my
you
back.
under.
I'm floating the wrong way.
Every time I get to my side, I just bounce back.
But no, they're super buoyant, and they're super like sleek. So like when you take one stroke, you go like double.
You accelerate
Yeah, like
through
you
the water.
accelerate through the water. Yeah. And
So eventually you're skipping across the surface.
I don't swim that fast. I'm a little bit slower than that. But yeah, it's that was fun.
So the swim you did good.
Swim, you
You did
last
better
year
than last year.
Last year it took me 29 minutes. This year it took me 22 minutes.
Well, that's a big improvement. All right.
Yeah,
Look at that,
and
PR.
I think it was the wetsuit 100%.
We know it is because if I remember right, you didn't train at all. So that's
I
awesome.
did not train at all this year. Last year I trained like my life depended on it because I honestly thought I was going to die.
Right, all right.
Yeah.
So then you get out. You
So yeah, after
Strip
you
down.
survive that, you peel off the wetsuit, and then you've already got like your like tri-suit underneath it, and you.
the hell's a
cowl.
tri-suit?
It's like a unitard.
So you're like a wrestling suit.
Yeah,
Like-
kind of. The guys one.
You get out of the water and then you have to grapple.
You grapple for half an
The
hour.
guys one
Guys
is
one is
so
like running in
not
a Speedo.
attractive. Yeah, the guys one is
They
not
just get on their
attractive.
bike in a
It's like
Speedo?
the nipples are hanging out. Yeah,
Yeah,
Some
it's like
people
Speedo
do.
and like this small
God, what
sort
happens
of
if your ball
mid-drifty
falls
tank
out
top
while you're
deal.
running?
People do. Yeah, some people.
That's the
Yeah, some
problem I
people are
would have.
hardcore and they do like the whole thing in like these like triathlon like bikini shorts and hardly
Serious?
anything on
How do
top.
they
Yeah,
keep
it's
their
nuts.
junk from falling out of the side
Oh,
part?
it's
don't think
tight.
they have
That
a
stuff's
lot.
on tight.
Yeah,
And the
I don't know if it
shrinkage.
would
Shrinkage
matter.
there's the
is
shrinkage.
Maybe.
shrinkage is handled.
Well, yeah, but
a lot.
balls don't shrink, so they just extend and they get lower.
No, don't they, like,
and
tuck
lower.
up? I don't know.
Yeah, they do
tuck
tuck
up.
up.
They go
I get
up.
called. But when you get out,
How do I know more?
they're
About
gonna drop.
Liz, why don't you know more
I know
about
more about
tuckage and
testicles
shrinkage?
than you guys do.
I don't know.
So you got on your bike
Extensive research.
with your shrunken balls, and
I don't have any balls. But yeah, then I got on.
Hold up,
Gentlemen.
a round of applause once for hitting himself with the door, and Sean Kearney, everybody.
Kearney!
Sean Kearney.
Back, bitches.
Woo!
Put your headphones on, bitch.
Let's plug you in.
So then you jumped on your bike.
So then, yeah, you towel
Your
off, you dry
tricycle.
off, and you
Are we
get
talking
on
about
the bike.
Liz's accident?
We're not. I'm hoping we get
We
there.
haven't gotten to that part
I
yet.
had a feeling there might be one, so that's what I'm leading
Yeah.
up for.
Yeah, so I did the 18-mile bike ride without incident, and then you come into the transition area, and it's like you have to get off your bike and then like basically put it back and
So yeah, that's like the easiest thing,
That's
right?
easy.
Like that's like a 4-year-old could probably do that, right?
Yeah, that's like
That's the
you just, I mean,
simplest
you just
part.
get off the
yeah,
bike.
just getting off
Yeah.
the bike.
You get off the bike,
and
and
then
you walk it over, and you
Yeah.
bracket.
I mean, like I could see someone hurting themselves on an 18-mile bike ride, but like dismounting a bike, like any idiot can do that.
Yeah, except for
So yeah, so keep
So
going with the
what?
story.
So yeah, any idiot could get off the bike, but not me. I am not any idiot, obviously.
You're a very special.
I'm a very special idiot because I got 1 foot out of the cage, and so it's like when you come through the transition area, there's tons of people there, and they're all cheering, right? Because yeah, and they're like, "Well, you're almost there. You can do it." Oh my God, are you okay? Because I fell off the bike. Like
I
got
was
1
hoping
foot.
you just ran through a bunch
No,
of
That would've been
awesome.
That'd be well worth it.
Oh God, dude, that'd be
No.
bad.
I got
Like
1
Santa
foot.
Monica all over again. she's not even old.
What's her excuse aside from ignorance?
It was just excitement and adrenaline, and yeah. So I got
Yeah.
1 foot off the pedal, and then the other foot not so much, and I just.
Did it happen slow too, where you know it's coming? Like you forget, when you
yeah.
do something, you're like,
God.
shit, I'm going down.
Well, and then the bike's still going forward, and I'm like going down and forward.
So you thought you'd be slick and be fast? Like I'm gonna
I was
jump
like,
up and
I'm
get
just
right into the run.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Yep. No, not so much.
So
Sounds
you
about right.
scraped
So
your body up.
I bruised the entire left side of my body, and then had to run 4 miles with like a banged up knee, and it was
Yep.
Oh, it hurts so
It hurt so bad. Like by
Did it really? I mean, like,
by like
oh,
mile
that
2,
sucks.
I was just like telling myself I was not in pain. I was like, I'm not in pain. 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 I'm not.
How were you the next day?
Oh, that day and the next. Yeah, the next.
The next day, next
Sean
morning when you
knows.
woke up.
Well,
Did you-
that
did you
night,
walk?
like I got home and
Usually the
I
next
like
day that
took
your
it.
body like shuts down.
Well,
There's
I
a
got
good
home.
picture we should put on the site of her with just ice on her leg the next day.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I saw
'cause
the knee
did-
photo. I
Yeah,
saw you
on my
ice on the
Instagram.
knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that night. Yeah, I put it on Instagram. It was just a giant ice block on my knee.
And then Monday you were limping around.
Monday
a little bit.
was. I was in a lot of pain.
Usually
Yeah.
the second
There was
day
a
is
lot
the
of-
worst.
The
pain.
worst. That's when
Yeah.
you get up in the morning
Yeah.
from laying down. Your body's been resting.
Oh, I could barely sleep.
Could you
because-
walk? Usually it's you
yeah, I
stand
could
up and you're like,
walk.
oh god.
Well,
and you're like, oh.
I usually sleep on my left side, so I couldn't sleep on my left side. So I barely slept the night before. Yeah, it was just bad. I was like hobbling around. And
So when you
was
fell,
really
though,
sad.
were you just like completely embarrassed?
Oh my God.
And it
Well,
was
that's
just
what-
like you were more embarrassed than hurt at that moment.
Yeah.
You're just
Yes.
like, oh god, I'm gonna start crying because
Did
my
you fart a little? Everyone farts a little when they fall.
When they fall.
16 mile.
Right? You gotta let it out.
Is that like when you die, you like lock up? It's just like-
Everything just releases.
Yep.
It was the chair.
They void themselves when they die. Oh God, I can't believe you did it.
No, it was definitely embarrassing, and because like I said, people were cheering you, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine. Don't touch
Smells
me."
like
It
farts.
smells like farts.
That is weird.
Ma'am, are you sure you're okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna stand away from you.
Becca said it's a speed boost, so just I mean, I guess, you know.
It's a speed boost.
Yeah.
Little turbos
No.
across along the way.
But you did it.
But I did it. But I finished, and
Did you have a faster
I got-
time than last
I
year?
did by about 20 minutes, which was nice.
Could have been 25. You wanna
If I hadn't fallen, yeah, my run would have been a lot better because that was sad times. But
It's for the kids.
it's for the kids.
Exactly.
It's for kids with cancer.
Did you get like a medal?
You do get a medal, and it says finisher. Like
Shit.
not even
Right,
like
that's hard.
triathlete.
Are you kidding me?
No,
That's awesome.
No, I wanted to say
I want
like
a fucking medal that
triathlete.
says
It
finisher.
just says
I'm pretty sure-
finisher.
I'm a finisher.
Pretty sure the porn industry has a similar award.
Best finisher.
That'd be a great fucking
2013 finisher of the year.
It's like another fucking comic book hero. Punisher's little brother, the finisher.
Chad Diamond's the finisher.
Exactly.
I don't know why, but I randomly fucking think about him now. For no reason. I'm like, I wait
He
for you to
needs to
send
be
me
again.
a text with anything he says.
I don't know if
You
I
gotta follow
sent
that
this
fool on
one.
And I got worried about Chad. Let's talk about something.
Oh,
Lately,
yeah.
let's talk about something.
Oh.
This is a current affair
Yeah.
here in LA. There is every so often in the adult entertainment industry, there's a HIV scare. What that means in general is one person gets it, and because they all have unprotected sex, anybody related or have done shows with them or whatever else, everybody gets scared, and it usually comes out a couple more. So far, they're up to 4 as of right now, all related to this one person. I literally, I'm not gonna lie, a piece of me went, "Fucking Chad Diamond."
Chad Diamond. I hope he's okay.
He's pissed. He is. His Facebook has been blowing up. He's got this weird sort of feeling that I like. He's like, why are they trying to protect us from ourselves? Is like his sort of vibe about
Sean,
it.
explain who Chad Diamond is again to
I
people
think
who are
in
new
that
to this.
statement explains why they need to protect Chad Diamond.
So Chad Diamond is a kid that I went to high school with, and he turned into a male porn star, and it was a very simple road actually. He started in
It was a pretty quick transition.
fancy
for Chad
that.
Diamond.
It takes no college.
It takes no real college, no experience. He was in one day I go to he Facebook friended me, and we weren't really close friends. And I say that not because I'm trying to like distance myself from him, because I really appreciate.
We want the opposite.
If anything, we want to
think
get closer
he's
to Chad Diamond.
But he was Facebook friends with me, and he posted a thing that was like, "Hey, I just did a porno," and it was a thing where porn stars have sex with average Joes, and I think they
Like that
even
scene
called
in
it like
Boogie Nights.
ugly Joes or something like that. It was like porn stars have sex with regular old ugly fucking idiots. Like it was like something like that.
Listen up, everybody. If you haven't made that one yet,
Yes,
make that
please
one.
make
And so
that
he
one.
did that, and then through that he ended up getting on to more work, and he was the lead in This Ain't Glee XXX.
Okay.
He was a co-star in This Ain't MASH XXX, and all he
Which
does
for
is
that
post about
industry,
porn.
actually, it's probably pretty hard to get on because those ones sell.
That
Those
seems
ones
like that's
actually
some
sell.
serious stuff.
Any of
right?
the what do they call those? Like the
Parodies.
the parody ones.
Well, so the thing is he did musical
Just jump
theater.
right in there.
Like his entire life,
Oh,
he
so
did
does he
musical
sing
theater,
that
so
one?
he can sing. So he, I think, got the
Shut
part.
up.
He got the part as the teacher because he can sing.
We need to get him on the fucking show.
So can I read to you? I saved this. I don't know if I sent this to you guys because like about a week ago, he had a twofer on Facebook where 2 of his posts were back to back, and I just couldn't take how great they were. So cover your ears if this gets a little bit hairy, for lack of a better term. Not that hairy. So his first post is there is no replacement for a real porn girl. I'm talking double anal and deep throating, tons of spit, and a great open attitude.
Damn right.
That's the cincher right there.
Touche.
I didn't think it was going to be the attitude that was open, but okay.
And then here comes the next one that is, I think, related to like he wants real porn girls. He goes, if by the random chance that some random girl wants to fuck, I usually turn them down. Mostly because I hate condoms and random hoes. He's the professor.
As opposed to a
Diamond.
random
Professor
hoe that
Chad
you
Diamond.
meet on...
I've actually heard and read other articles where same with female, but mostly male porn stars, they don't have they just don't have random sex.
That's
they
crazy.
just tend not to because they're more scared of the average girl giving them and I've heard this with females too.
Yeah.
They're more scared of just somebody they meet than they are any porn star.
Yeah, and Ron Jeremy's autobiography video called, I think it's just called Porno. He talks about the only 3 times he got anything was from normal girls. It wasn't from the industry
Yeah, there's just
at
a
all.
fear because, which is, come full circle back to these people with HIV. It's surprising because
They're
of the
tested
amount
so
they
heavily.
actually are
Yeah.
tested. And I mean, literally for people who don't know, I mean, where we live in LA, it's a pretty big deal. And they have they have sites specifically designed for that. I think it's called AIM, is the testing centers.
Yeah, they do them because he checks in on Foursquare
when he goes.
No joke.
God, I love
But
him
I had
so
a
much.
And
test.
it's once a week.
I at one point when I moved out here, I was
Every
like, I want to get
Monday.
this done, and I went to it's up by you guys in Sherman Oaks, and I was
all
like,
porn sites.
I was dating somebody, and she at the time, this is years and years and years ago, she was like, hey, before it goes to that next step, I need to know, and she was serious. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. She's like, but I need paperwork, and I'm like, all right. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go.
You're a liar.
I'm going to go to this place, and it's for porn. And the lady, I remember the old lady in there. I walked in. I said, I just need to get to, and there's a lot you can get tested for there, I guess. And she just looked at me. She goes, You're not in the industry, are you? And I was like, really? Am I not looking? Average Joe. didn't sell
It was
it.
probably because you weren't in a tank top and cut off shorts.
They are extremely serious. So it's like but I thought of Chad. I thought of when this all went down, I'm like, fuck, what's Chad going to do?
He is very upset about this, and he also was,
Because they're pushing the law now to try to get condoms
Well,
on
didn't
all
they
of them.
pass the
It did
law?
pass.
Well, they
yeah, they
passed
passed it
in the county.
in the county. That's
and
it.
now they're trying to push it super hard because they're like, well, here's a perfect example, and he is very much against condoms and porn. And we talked about it on the show before, and I have to admit that I don't care either, because it's two consenting adults want to get videotaped
exactly.
doing what they want.
And the amount of testing
less.
happening, it's sad for I think it was a female who contracted it first. That's who they traced it back to. Is that the worry has to come from them sleeping outside the industry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the funniest.
Yeah.
To me, it's just so ironic that's the worry they have. That's the concern.
But he is still having sex. He's still having sex on camera.
God bless him.
So I don't know.
That must be uncomfortable.
What he's doing
It's on a camera.
On a camera.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
exactly know.
They stopped.
Did they
recording.
stop the
no,
moratorium?
they stopped recording. Like there was a what is that called? A moratorium for a little bit, but then it came back, and then people kept. We're up to 4 now, but. I think they're targeting the one company. I think it's Kink.com, or I think Kink is the name of the company who had the issue. But I think I'm sure other people aren't going to stop making money because of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's his business, right?
Yeah, my one big problem with Chad Diamond is that he still thinks Dexter's a good show. Every other choice that guy's made in life, like every time he
enjoy that show.
You can get
but
behind
like it is just drop the ball so bad, and he writes things like, "Oh my fucking god, Dexter has taken another level. What amazing writing! I love it." And the other porno girl thing, I'm
And
like,
this is what
okay,
offends him.
I can get behind it. And then it gets to Dexter, I'm like, oh fuck you, give me a break.
What the hell is
Straw
wrong
that
with
broke
you?
the camel's
You're
back
an
right there.
idiot.
Fucking writers.
We
on
got to get him on the
Dexter.
show.
Yeah, I think it
we've
might
been
be
talking
time.
about. It might be
think we
time.
do.
Seriously,
It might be time
he'd be
to
an
get him on the
awesome
show.
guest. We have
Now that you have a
Actually,
girl
this
on the
is-
show,
We have a girl.
Yeah.
am I the babe?
We've invited her full time.
official.
That's what I heard.
It's official.
I'm very excited. I hope
You had no choice, Sean. So here she is.
I just hope that you do a better job than you did getting off that bicycle.
Yes.
I do too.
You know,
Liz is down. Liz is down, everyone.
This is Sean's first time recording here.
Yeah.
at the
the
new
new
home.
dig.
This
At
is
the,
yeah.
At the new dig. We
I've
finally
been,
have digs.
We finally got.
Period.
I like this place a lot. It's very quaint. There's a huge TV behind us.
Which now we actually can pull.
yeah,
up
we can
the
mirror
Evernote
our
page. and
shit.
stuff.
This is amazing.
I'm just impressed you're
We're all
here.
high-tech.
It feels like forever.
It really
since
has.
you've done a
It's
show.
It's
know.
been like months. We've been
And
crunching.
can you talk about
Well, there
at
was the
all?
break, the
yeah,
podcast
there was a break.
and then
I can't
work got
talk
crazy.
about exactly why I haven't been around, but I can say why Pecco hasn't been around and why he isn't here tonight.
Can we announce that?
We can announce that actually tonight at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. At 9 p.m., Where's My Water 2 is coming out to the App Store.
So why did that come out?
Good job, Pecco.
Why did that come out?
Good job.
9 p.m. Pacific
Dynamite!
as opposed to Eastern, because then it's coming out.
midnight
Midnight.
Easter time. So it
Okay.
technically
Thursday
comes out
is the
Thursday.
day.
Gotcha.
So actually, it's right now. It's live in like Australia,
Yeah.
New Zealand, and
Britain,
places where it's
yeah.
tomorrow. So all those fucking
Places
We're
where
like
it's
the future. If you're in the future, download Where's My Water.
But yeah, both
Blondie
Jay and I have been
pasties.
crunching pretty hard, and we're at the
And
end
then
of
what are the
tunnel here.
specs? Is it free? Is it 99
It
cents?
is. It is free.
Free to play.
Free to play, and then there are some in-app purchases, but it's still one of those things that by the time there's like
There's
a
so
boatload of
much.
levels and content and shit, and by the time you get to the end of it, like maybe you've spent $3 and you've gotten like $500 worth of content.
Nope.
That
There's a lot.
people like Pecco have like painstakingly been building for the last like million
$3
years.
whole dollars.
$3 whole. Well, $2.97.
And Becca says it's going to be on Android in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, it
which
is
awesome.
So if you got
Becca, what the hell is F2P, bitches?
free to play, bitches.
Free to
Okay,
play.
you fucking game folk. No one knows what the hell F2P.
Hold on, you
F2P.
fucking game folk coming from the guy who I was looking on your Facebook and you were meeting up with your Call of Duty buddy.
That happened.
And then you get
Who's an avid listener?
a
I met a guest.
Yeah.
Can we go there?
you
Can we
made
talk
a
about
friend
that?
in real life that you met on the virtual battlefield.
I only
and
make
you-
virtual friends.
Semper Fi, man. Brothers for life.
Did you guys just talk about like all the shit you were in? You're like, yeah, man, we were in the
No,
shit.
it's so funny, dude. You
barely got out
don't
of
want to
that
talk
alive.
about it almost because
Yeah.
you're like, fuck, that makes us really nerdy.
Yeah.
But he's so not. Like, honestly, the guys I play with now late at night are a bunch of dads
Yeah.
Yep.
or husbands who
Sure.
wives go to bed,
Yep.
30-somethings, hey, I'm going to play video games while you go to sleep. Have fun.
It
So
is
it's
true.
It's a weird, now for our generation, it's a weird demographic of people I play with. They're like, you play with the kids? I'm like, no. It's a bunch of us old guys who used to play
Dudes like
Nintendo.
me, yeah.
No, it's
who are
stupid.
30-something and want to play video games.
I was out last night.
Oh, there he
and
is. Korean killers here. They're tied.
Korean
Speak of
killer.
the devil.
Hey. No, I was out last night with a couple people, and I hadn't seen some of them in a while, and I was just kind of, somebody asked me like, "Oh, how's work going? Are you still working for Disney?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm actually doing mobile games now." And they're like, "Man, I am fucking addicted to dots." And we had like a
Yep.
20-minute
What is that?
conversation. It's this free
But you
puzzle
both, like
game.
go to your phone.
I'm like, it's on it. Yeah.
Is it good?
But it's
It
like
is, it's
normally, like I wouldn't even admit to somebody that I'm playing this like stupid puzzle
Sure.
game.
You basically
nonstop.
collect colored or connect colored dots.
It's like all the people who like play Candy Crush,
Yeah,
right? Who
but it's
fucking,
like so.
That's all I hear about.
Like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like really, I was
And it's just super
standing
simple
outside of a
and-
fucking bar talking to somebody about how we both can't put this down.
oh shit! So
it's
it's like Bejeweled or
It's
any
like
of the
Bejeweled,
other ones,
yeah.
but
And
you're
you're just
but you get to
connecting.
drag it around. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's super pretty, and it's like, but it was
No,
just
it's
like
simple. I mean, it's a simple
it's
idea.
just
but
such a simple thing, and it's so dumb that like I sometimes will hold back on talking about these things, and then realize like, oh no, everybody is doing this, and I'm not the nerd. Like the whole country is just one big.
I
nerd.
haven't had. It's weird. I've never had horrible experiences with people I've met who I've played with. So we talked about I played Quake back in the day with guys
Yeah.
online, and one of which actually turned out to be one of my best friends. Josh knows him. It's our friend who works over at Cooler Masters, Guy Rajiv. And but when I moved to LA, he was the only person I knew but didn't really know.
But then, yeah,
Yeah.
you'd only just.
But
play
I had
games
played
him.
with him for like 6 or so years. He
That's
was just
amazing.
one of those guys though, that you played with long enough, and because you're on mics and stuff, you kind of realize the people who are being themselves probably,
Yeah.
and the people who are clearly compensating or acting maybe
Oh.
like not. So when I met, it literally was like, I don't know, we were best. I don't know. We're just gonna get beer. It literally there was no difference between meeting
That's
him in
funny.
person or not. So like when I met Garrett Korean Killer, who's listening now, it's kind of like he's exactly how he is online. Like compared to I think other people or on forums or something where I'm going to be a complete asshole. I'm going to
Yeah.
troll people.
Yeah.
But then you meet him in person.
Like Pekka.
Hi. Hi.
So Korean Killer, is he Korean or is he just
He
like a
is
vehement
Korean.
racist?
No, he is
Or
Korean.
does he kill
Which
Koreans,
makes it funny.
right? Yeah. Are you
Yeah.
killing Koreans?
Killer.
I couldn't.
It's like no. He's just German and he.
Like I
hates
said, what the
Korean
fuck is
people.
dots? Did you guys not share that with him?
Does he?
I don't know.
What
Does he
fucking
make mobile
industry
games?
Are you in? Are you kidding me? What is dots? What's
No, but
Angry Birds?
everybody seems to nowadays live up to like exactly how I think. Because if I thought they were a douche to start with, why the
Yeah.
fuck would I want to meet you
Yeah.
in person?
It's true.
and hopes that you're a better person when
Yeah.
I meet you.
Well, maybe he's just being an asshole for sure.
There were cases.
Yeah.
I
The
went
last
to
2 years.
QuakeCon twice, and
Okay.
those are instances where you get to meet people you wouldn't want to even hang out
Yeah,
with,
they just
but they're
happen to be
from a
there.
community, and then you're like, I get it. I get
Oh,
exactly why you are the way you are. I 100%.
That was like when I went to Penny Arcade Expo. It was like because that's
I
just
still wanna
all
go to
fans.
PAX. I still wanna
It's
go to that.
super cool, but like half of the people are like it's great because all the devs are there and they're super cool. All the fucking people are batshit insane. I'm sorry. Like, listen, I'm in the fucking industry too. They are batshit insane, and it's just like you leave like, oh man, like. You pay my rent, man. Like, come on.
be better than this.
Yeah. Damn it.
I need you to not be an
Gary
asshole.
said he is Korean and he is racist. So we get the best of both
Oh,
worlds.
wow, nice.
Done.
So I was holding on to some stuff specifically for you to get here.
Uh-oh.
The big one will leave.
We cannot talk about Breaking Bad. It turns
And we
out.
can. I haven't finished watching it. Pecco says.
But can we
talk
just
about
say that they greenlit the spinoff
Oh, yes.
Better Call Saul? So they greenlit.
I suppose we could talk
It's a
about it.
prequel,
spin-off.
right? It's a
Yeah.
prequel spin-off.
Prequel
to Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
what would
Which-
be a prequel to what exactly?
So-
like
so
his
this is
life as a
Saul
dad.
Goodman. No, Saul Goodman.
Saul, the
It's
lawyer.
Bob
He's a
Odenkirk.
lawyer.
Bob
See, the
Odenkirk.
thing,
Oh,
I'm
he's a
not.
lawyer.
I've watched one episode
Oh,
of the
okay.
show. So
Ever?
the first one.
But the good news.
But I want to watch it. Don't
the
take the face.
cool thing about this, that's super cool. That Chad, one of the guys on the team, pointed
Chad
out.
Diamond.
Chad Diamond, not Chad Diamond.
Not Chad Diamond. This is the opposite of Chad Diamond.
No, one of the guys pointed out that because it's a prequel, because I was a little upset because knowing that there was going to be a spinoff, you're like, well, that character's not going to die. Because
But a
how can they?
prequel-
But now that it's a prequel, it's like anything
All bets are off.
You don't know.
All bets
Right.
are off, and
That's
it's
a good idea.
pretty
Yeah,
badass.
it's
pretty awesome.
You know,
That is a show though. I'm going to watch.
it's well
going to
worth
watch
it.
it.
Kill some folk.
One episode.
Kill some, kill them.
The first one, the pilot, which is
Make it all-
awesome.
It's a great pilot.
Yeah.
She's
it all
fucking.
I can't.
God, it's like falling off a fucking bike when you're
I
not
just
really
can't
going
believe
fast.
this.
How the hell did that happen?
I know it is unreal.
No, so the first one is Steam's announcement, which you heard about, you didn't hear
dope.
about. So Steam is jumping potentially. They're going to beta
The
test
accounts.
it, where you can share games,
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
and family.
That's super cool.
which is fucking super dope because
Yeah.
of their
I thought
library.
you said nope,
that you
and I was
have
like,
on
what
Steam.
team are you on?
Nope.
That
Yeah, like what do you? I mean, what do you? What do
I'm
you?
not sharing
what do you guys think of
shit
this?
with anyone.
I think it's amazing. And I think it is also something that the Xbox got dinged really big for, or the Xbox One got dinged for, oh, you can't share games, you can't trade games, all this stuff. And one of the big things that came out when there was a backlash to the backlash, was people saying, well, they're just doing what Steam does, and nobody gets mad at Steam about it because you're not used to being able to resell and share games that you buy online. But Xbox is getting shit for it when it's like they're just doing what everybody's doing. And so I feel that now Steam doing this is like really validating online
What
gaming,
the only
you
thing
know?
that came from this that I was interested in is like I thought Steam had sort of cornered this market, which was they got it for free, which is if you wanted to play it, you had to buy it, but
Yeah.
then you got to keep it, it was yours, whatever else. But now, what incentive other than just being awesome
Yeah.
isn't it for them to do this? Like, what do they get out of sharing these titles with friends and family? Now,
I think getting people to
Just
join
users.
Steam.
Yeah, I was going to say.
you think
'cause-
that,
yeah,
that's
'cause I
what it
think
is?
what
Like,
happens
just
is
brings them
that-
to Steam itself.
It brings you
and
to
they-
Steam because there's the other thing that Steam offers is they're just like a storefront. They're a damn good one, but
Oh,
they
they're a really
don't.
good one, yeah. They don't really do
most of their
anything
games
about it.
you can get anywhere else.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they're getting less and less exclusives as time goes on, right? Because now there's the Ouya, and now there's Origin, EA's answer to Steam. Everyone's got
hate
their
that I
thing.
have to go to Origin.
Oh,
for
yeah.
this. Same with Blizzard. Dude.
Blows.
The fact I
Yeah,
gotta
but you have to go to a
fucking-
different
these games
thing.
that I want that I
Yeah.
have to. I want it to be Steam. I
Exactly.
want to do nothing else but have Steam for that reason.
And I think Steam's doing something that that Netflix is doing too, where they're being proactive about doing shit that they could just rest on their laurels and just be like, "Who the fuck- nobody has anything but Netflix."
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Sure.
go get
We're fine,
Amazon
yeah.
Prime,
Sure,
you
sure,
asshole.
sure.
But then what they're doing is they're
Watch
like,
your
Enjoy
Downton.
that.
Exactly. Watch your Downton Abbey and just shut the fuck up.
off. But what they're doing is they're like spending a ton of money and really pumping up Steam so that they're just going to maintain the fact that they're number one. But I think what it is that let's say you don't have Steam and you're like, well, I don't want to. I can get this game on Xbox. And then I go, dude, I can give it to you for free.
You're gonna
If you
want
Then
join
you get on Steam,
Yeah.
you put your credit card in, you get all your stuff. Then they do a sale, and you're like, "Fuck, okay."
Yeah, I even buy games on the Steam sale, and I don't play them.
everybody. Well, that's
Yeah,
that's
totally.
like you and your Xbox. I do
Oh,
that
yeah.
with Steam.
I do that with Steam
I'm
too.
like Age of Empires. Well, I haven't played that in 10 years. I want
I
the
just
whole
hate
collection.
playing on
Yeah,
my computer.
you're not gonna play
just
it.
in case.
Yeah.
Just in case.
That's my
You
thing. I don't like
never
playing
know.
on the computer.
Neither do I.
See, I do,
What-
but on the same note, it's just once I buy the game, I'm like, fuck, I still got to download that.
Yeah.
To me, it's just the fact of a big screen. I mean, I've got two 24-inch monitors, but like just 24-inch or 65.
Yeah.
24, 65, you know?
To me, those.
Plug your
I guess the
computer
ones I
into
get
your
on the
TV,
PC,
lazy.
they'll play better
That's true,
on
too.
a monitor,
So
though,
lazy.
as far as I'm concerned. Like,
Getting
I
up
don't,
close and
Yeah, the console games to me play well on big TVs. I think there's certain, like, I like RTS games. Those are really made for mouse and keyboard, in my opinion.
well, that's why Halo. I think a big reason that Halo went to a first-person shooter because originally it was being developed for the Mac and it was an RTS. And then they
really?
said, yeah. And then when Microsoft bought them, they said, well, we want to do this for console. And they instantly were like, yeah, I don't like. We got to rethink how we're making this game because RTSs don't work well with controllers and they don't work if you're not right in front of your TV. And this is back when TVs were smaller than they are now too. And so they made it an FPS.
Because they've done RTS
When-
games for consoles. I've
And
just,
they're
I've
hardly
never even.
good.
I'm like, how would you even
Yeah.
use the controller to manipulate those games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they did do a Halo RTS recently.
They did it
They
for
did.
console.
Yeah, Halo Wars.
Yep, Halo Wars.
And that one, I was sick that day that it came out and then left, and nobody cared about it.
I was just gonna say today. Carter played it. Did you guys play
Well,
it?
Carter played every
Yeah.
Halo game, so he
Caleb-
probably still
Carter
did.
read all
He's
the
not-
books.
He's not here, but even if he was, we'd still make fun of him for it.
Oh yeah. He loves
Yes.
Halo.
The Korean
Nerd.
killer sent a selfie picture
Oh boy.
of an amazing Korean dude that is clearly
Is
not
it
him.
going to go up on the big screen?
Yeah, it's clear. Actually, pull up
Does it go on the big
MixLR
screen?
and we can put that on the screen for everyone to see.
Oh,
Good
boy.
job, Gary. Good job. But no, I think it's awesome. Like
Yeah,
there's tons
that's
of
amazing. And that's also their MO, right? Like they do shit that you can't completely identify why they're doing it.
I
and
think
that
it's a
what makes
good
them cool.
setup for them to be that whole encompassing Steambox kind of idea where they
Mm-hmm.
want to be on your TV and they want to be like in your living room and now you're making it more like for the people like you said, it's like maybe your brother-in-law, maybe a friend's like, well,
Yeah.
I only have this in my living room. You're like, no, dude. Just
Here,
put that
just
on
take-
there.
now
Just
you have
take
this
now
game
you can
for
just
free.
play this game for free. I guess the only thing was like you can't play at the same time. So like if you
Yeah.
have a multiplayer game, you're thinking, well, I'm going to lend you Call of Duty.
Oh, I see.
But
Yeah, you're going to
Yeah.
have to buy that one.
And the thing is also, I think that they realized somebody was going to do it. So what? They were going to wait 8 months until Origin does it, and then they were going to play Me Too. Now they get all the
Yeah.
props for it.
Sure.
You know, like that's something that's bound to happen. And I feel like that's another thing that Netflix seems to get is like they did multiple accounts and they did stuff where they seem to get in front of things where they're just like, we're just going to play catch up to Blockbuster or someone who desperately
Needs it. So they
Yeah.
need the
this
new
thing.
idea to like come out.
So they're like, why not just do it? And they're just one of those companies that I just feel like they just do cool shit because if they stopped doing cool shit and started focusing completely on making money, like they would lose part of their charm.
Yeah, and I think that thing makes money for them
Yeah.
without trying, which is
They don't
kind of
care.
awesome that they want
Yeah.
to keep trying to expand it. I mean,
Yeah.
they probably get a percentage of
That's
everything.
why there's no
sold on that
Half-Life
site.
3. If there was no Steam, there would be Half-Life 5 by now. Like, they don't
Probably.
need to make games.
They don't need to.
They don't give a shit.
Well, that's what they let their staff. They're like, no, you guys go ahead and sit where you want. You
Fuck
want
you
to? You guys want to sit in each other's laps and hang
Yeah.
out? Do it.
Yeah.
Play dots all day, Pecco.
You don't know
pull it
what
up?
that game is.
How does he not know what
It's like
that
the
game is?
number
That's
one
cra- I don't
fucking game on the
understand.
App Store.
Go to chat.
that's
Go to where it says
Jelly
38.
No, that's true too.
Or actually close that window. It's right under that.
Oh, no.
Oh God.
There's a delay.
Turn it down.
Here, I'll do this. There you
Man,
go. I got it.
listen to this makes me realize I curse a lot.
Fucking fuck. This fucking thing.
Click on the Instagram photo.
Where's the Instagram photo? Oh, there it is. Bam.
Yeah, it's that kid.
That's who I hung out with, everyone.
That kid is all over the internet.
That's who we hung out with. I like the TV setup here.
I like it
I mean,
too.
I don't.
I like this a
I need
lot.
to
I think
sit
it's
differently so I can.
How
see.
big
it's
do you
on the
think this
camera.
TV is? Is this 70?
No, it's a 60.
65.
That's probably
60.
60. Is that
I
as
say
big as
60.
ours?
I think ours is bigger.
That's what I'm.
I know mine's
Yeah.
bigger.
Mine's bigger.
Ah,
All
Mine's way
right,
bigger.
settle down.
I got a good inch and a
What's up,
half.
nerd,
it
what's
back
up,
in your
nerd
pants.
corner?
Onion.
Speaking of Sean Fennell,
Yeah, the only thing that I got is something that my wife actually sent me today, which is
and it's not crabs.
Ubisoft is developing a
Or a nudie
game
pic.
called Child of Light or something. I think that's the
Oh,
name,
yeah,
Child
yeah.
of Light, which is it's kind of a children's based story game where the main character is a girl who's a princess who is going through essentially fairy tale stories. But the interesting twist on it is it's specifically designed so parents can play with their children. So there's this little glowing light that follows the character around, and it can provide hints and stuff like that. But if the parent wants to jump in and play with the child, the parent can use this light to actually help co-op play the game with the child and help the child solve puzzles and kind of just play with the child. And they kind of compared it to Super Mario Galaxy, where Super Mario Galaxy, you could come in as a second player, but you were really just picking up coins and you didn't interact in any way with the gameplay of the person who was playing
Oh, really?
the main character. Yeah. So
So
in
it
this
wasn't where
game-
like you can't the side scroller where you can't move any further unless a jackass
That's
comes
right,
with you. You're like,
yeah.
fucking Pecco, catch up.
I know this won't benefit anybody who's listening, but Josh, you should Google it and show the video.
Yeah, the
because
video's
it's
pretty cool.
unbelievable
Of what?
how it
Of
looks.
this?
Child of Light, because it's using this framework they do for 2D art called Ubi art that up until now has only been used on Rayman games, and it looks like hand-drawn 2D. Like it looks
Like it's just their own
unbelievably
rendering
cool.
system.
Is that one?
Yeah, I think it's a graphics engine. I feel like Pecco would
Child of
know
Light.
more about it, like more about what the engine is. But this UbiArt thing it's a art framework, and it's like pretty unbelievable how this game looks.
Oh, never mind. That's right. We've stopped the show altogether
Because we want to watch how cool
TV.
this looks. Oh, and it's the creative director of Far Cry 3, which couldn't be farther from a kid's game in 2D.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But it's got this painterly look that looks just beautiful.
It looks.
We will
outrageous.
post
Oh my
this.
gosh, it's like a watercolor.
Yeah.
And this is the first non-Rayman game to use this, which is like shows that they have a shitload of faith.
Pecco
in it.
said it has dynamic 2D lighting, textures, and shit too.
And
Like-
shit too.
Yeah.
It's pretty stupid cool looking.
So
Oh,
wait,
so that's
so the,
I love
the
the
one person,
watercolor.
Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
person is the little blue ball.
Yeah, the
Josh,
secondary
put-
player is the little blue ball of light, and the girl is the main character. So your children will be playing as the girl, and you could jump in as the parent as the ball. The thing that's really cool about it is there is combat in it as well. It's like turn-based combat, and the combat is
look at that.
pseudo real time, but the person who's playing as the little ball of light can like hover over a character, and they have timers that like count down to when they're able to attack. But if you hover the light over the character, it slows
That's
them down.
cool.
Really?
So you
Oh,
can give
that's
your child
cool.
like a time to adapt and react to the gameplay.
It's
That's
beautiful
really
looking, but
yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends on the age of the child.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
not so cartoony that I think a super young kid would be into it.
right.
Yeah, that's
Maybe-
true.
maybe-
Because it
I
looked
would,
very.
Why'd you put it up already?
Yeah, I dropped it in.
So when it comes, I'm gonna get on it and see if the kids like it and play with it, and we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome.
that
Like
looks
talking to
awesome.
my boss, like that's all he does is play. His daughter's 7 now, 6, and he'll sit down and he's always looking for a game because like he makes video games. He's a gamer and he's always looking for a game that he can play with his daughter. And the content is never the deciding factor. It's actually just
If he can do it or not.
if the game she can't press buttons really quickly. She can't. There's a lot
Yeah.
of things that you take for granted. Like a Mario game is incredibly difficult for a 6-year-old.
Absolutely.
And he's like always looking like the closest he's found is the Lego GTA game on the Wii U. There's Lego City Undercover,
City, yeah.
which is kind of like an open world Lego game.
Okay.
And he said that that's like the closest, but even then it's like driving, like trying to stay straight when you're in a car. Like it's like everything's so difficult to do. So having something like this
Yeah.
where there's very few options.
I think the two
sounds
games
good.
that I've had success with, both of my children, one of them's 5 and one of them's 8. The 8-year-old is ridiculously good at Mario Brothers. Like
Okay.
he would blow anyone that I know away playing Mario Brothers. Is incredible. But obviously the 5-year-old's not that good because he just doesn't have the coordination or the timing to pull it off. So the two games that it seemed to be able to play is Toy Story 3, which is okay, but it just gets boring after a while. But it's cool because it has adaptive difficulty. So, like, if you go through a level a couple of times and you just fucking fail at it, it patches up all of the spots that you can fall off the map. It just patches it all
That's
up and you
super
can
cool.
kind of run
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
and experience it. The other one is Rise of the Guardians, which for me as an adult is boring as hell because you're really just pushing one button all the time.
Yeah.
And that's all you do. And it's just millions and millions of nightmares attacking you. And it looks cool.
Oh, the Rise of the
but it's
Guardians
just-
game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks
yeah.
cool, but it's not very... It doesn't
That's a
take whole
movie-based
lot of
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
intellect
Yeah.
and stuff, so there's not puzzles to solve or anything like that. It's pretty much just, here come the nightmares, and you're just tapping away until your arm falls off. So, yeah, I'm interested in finding some games that the kids can play with me.
Yeah.
State of Decay is not one of those games.
No.
They watch me play, and they're like, I like watching.
Carter put in the order, I guess, for both of us for the Infinity.
Infinity, yeah.
And my hope
Yeah.
is that something that even my 3-year-old can sit down with me maybe and just run around as one of the
Yeah,
characters. That's
I
what
think
I hope.
that's. I've been playing it for the last week or so with
At least
my
in
son.
sandbox mode, right?
And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't play console games at all. I play mobile games. So it's
Oh, like
definitely
Dots?
like Dots.
Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, I've heard of Dots. And
Underground.
I think I've heard this Angry Fish. Is that
angry,
what it is?
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Something.
angry.
It's by the makers of Dots.
I would
Yeah.
love like a calm, easygoing, not time-based puzzle game that you could play with a child.
Yeah.
So that you could sort of give them hints and they can help solve the puzzle. Something that's kind of growing their problem-solving skills along with, and plus being fun. And it doesn't seem like there's anything really out there that does that.
Well, like I was going to say, when we were playing Infinity, I don't know, like even the controller, like L1, L2. I'm like, I don't, how do you jump up here? And he's
Too many
always like, how do you
buttons.
do this? And I was like, I don't, like, it's like the blind leading the blind with this game. And I feel terrible. I feel like I need to like hire a tutor to like come in and like explain to him how console games work. So I'm just like, I don't know, run over there, and then we both get frustrated, and it's.
But I'm sure
This game's stupid.
He's gonna
I know, I'm like,
he's
just go
a
in the
kid
bath.
though.
Yeah.
And he's gonna figure it out
He did,
without
and
you
he did,
doing
and,
anything.
like, even last night he was playing for a little bit, and he figured out how to. I don't know. I guess there was some fire in the Lone Ranger playset, and he had to put out the fire, and he figured it out, and yeah, it's like he had a ton of trouble for about 25 minutes, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I figured it out." I'm like, "Oh, you did? How'd you do it? Show me." I want to.
And I think that's part of like.
But it's a lot of running around. It's a lot of running around and collecting coins and.
But that, yeah, I
But he
mean,
loves it.
that needs
But
to be in
that's-
there.
Because I think that is part of it. Like, I remember we were working on a Princesses game when I was in console, and I was talking to the producer on it, and I was like, yeah, there's not a lot of gameplay. And this game was made for toddlers. It was made for, like, 4 to 6-year-olds or something like that, 3 to 6-year-olds. And I was like, yeah, there's not a lot of, like, tasks. And she was like, have you played it with a 3-year-old? Like, she's like, you don't
They
understand.
don't care about the tasks.
They just want to, like, it was a Wii game. She's like, they want to touch the
wanna
grass.
touch it and it moves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was her big thing.
All
She's
my
like,
3-year-old went. If we took her to Chuck E. Cheese and I sat her in the racing, she just was like you were joking about turning like straight. That's when she did that, it was like her eyes lit up like instead of when she grabbed the wheel and went every time. I'm like, all right, don't do this.
Because you just want to see that you made, like, I did something and now something happened on screen.
Immediate gratification.
And so what it was, like, big on was, like, don't make a gap that somebody needs to jump over. Like, let them just run from left to right. And, like, it's going to take them 5 minutes to do it, and they're going to love and then what you need to do is have a shitload of reaction for everything. So let them run from left to right and pick up 8 coins, and when they pick up the 8th coin, have fucking fireworks go off. And it's just like, sensory overload,
This is the best thing ever.
Give me that.
I did it! I won!
It's kind of like Vegas, right? Like, it's just kind of like...
Ding, 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 ding.
You don't do
I'm
anything.
spending all my money right now.
But it's-
Woohoo, I won no money.
We see that even like with testing games, and people expect like this positive reinforcement whenever they do something right, and they're like, oh, I really thought there was going to be more fanfare there. I like, could there be a sound or some fireworks? I'm like, okay.
Everyone wants a fucking pat on the back.
Exactly.
Good for you. That's the level.
Obama's America, where everyone wants a fucking pat on the back.
Everyone gets a trophy.
This made me think, though, like in general, and this is a question to everybody. Josh, take it however you want to go in your corner, but I guess the same for Kearney, but the guys with kids, is there an age, or even you two who don't have them, if you had them, is there an age that you would feel like is like, I wouldn't let them start even playing a video game or messing with it or looking at it until they were this age? No. Go ahead, Mom. I want to hear where you come from. Like, do you have strong feelings about it?
Well, I guess it depends on the kind of game, right? Like, I don't like, but
I
my
mean,
son's
games
been
in
playing
general.
games for the last 3-4 years. Like, he's 7 now. Yeah, since he was like 3-4 years old, right? Like on iPad and iPhone. And, and as long as it's appropriate,
that's
the whole thing. He's not playing Grand Theft Auto.
No.
Doing
there was,
but I've heard the argument of just like I don't want to get them into that, or I don't want to get them into that habit of like clearly the new generation, which is I don't really go outside much. I just like play video games.
It's hilarious though, because the flip of that to me is like, so you don't want kids in front of computers learning things that involve logic and computer systems when every single job that they're going to want to get, like, it's so anti to like,
I think it's content. Right? I think it's content. If the argument is like you say that, but then your kid's behind, Kearney's up there, bitch. He's like, my kid is only learning. He's in the back. He's like playing GTA, fucking shooting cops. He's like, Dad, this is the best game ever. Like,
he solved a logic problem. He didn't know how to kill that cop. He needed to borrow a helicopter, and he thought it through.
But yeah, did you have any, like, Sean, did you have any, like, reservation of, like, well, I'm not going to let them fuck with any of this till they're, like, a certain age?
Yeah, there's some of the, I don't know, the kids are way into zombies because they play Plants vs. Zombies, which is fine. That's
fine,
That's fine. And they're really good at it, too. I wish I could play it with them. That'd be fun. But, like, the older level zombie games or first-person shooters, that kind of stuff, like, it's not really for them yet. One of the things Korean Kilak mentioned was Little Big Planet, which we did play with the kids for a little while, but it sort of fell off the plate. Maybe I could bring it back because that's a pretty good idea.
Well, because you can design a level yourself that they could actually do.
That's
No one
actually
has
really
time.
true.
No one
That's
has time
true,
to
too.
do that. They could design the
Both
level
of those
and
are
we all
completely
walk through it.
That's another PlayStation game that's never been played
But
on
think
system
of-
that I own.
What I would
Yep.
really like is like
Show 'em the shrink wrap.
Katamari Damasan without a time limit would
Yeah.
probably be a hell of a lot of fun with kids if you could get like a couple of people rolling balls around and shit and picking all that stuff up.
Well, I
Has
think
anyone
the key-
ever played Katamari?
Oh, yeah.
We have it.
I went,
upstairs.
I went
Yeah,
through
played
like
it.
3 of those games.
So fun.
But like the Kinect stuff, I always assumed that was that was the reason I bought it at one point. I'm like, this seems like something I'll be able to get her in front,
Yeah.
and just her
My kids
motion
are
is going
way
to
Yeah,
too
it's
translate.
gonna
spastic
pick
for
up.
that
But
shit.
I think there is still too much
are.
like.
Yeah.
Well,
There's too much task. I mean, it's back to your thing. To me, there's always a task.
Yeah.
But I also
Instead of
think
the
with
sandbox.
those, like, it's not real time, right? So they're doing something and they may not be seeing something instantly
Right,
happening,
right.
and they think, oh, well, no, it's not working.
That's not me.
You know. Yeah.
Now, hopefully, with the new Kinect, though, I mean, there's like no lag. Right?
looks
I mean, at least
nuts.
the stuff at E3 that I got up there and messed with,
Yeah,
it seemed
it
like it was
Seemed
real.
amazing. I
But
hope.
then again,
Yeah.
they could have been using like a fucking a red camera down there, 4K, and like, yeah, that's the new Kinect, and it just it works great.
So, Sean, what age did your kids play their first video game, roughly? Like, or really play? Not
Like really play?
like not like, oh, we were in an arcade at Disneyland and we
Sure,
put a
yeah.
quarter in, but like played a console game or something.
I would have to say probably 4, I think. Connor, when he was 4, he played Wii, like Wii Sports, Wii Resort, and then when he tried Mario Brothers and it was too complicated, he got super pissed off. He didn't get really good at it until he was 6, but then it was like, holy shit,
He
kids,
just, like-
seriously? Like, he knows every single secret block, every single way to get all
He's
the
fast.
coins.
I've been at the house and watched his son
It's
play. He's a
ridiculous.
savant when it comes to
That's amazing.
Super Mario.
Crazy.
Because I think I was 6. I know I was in kindergarten, and my dad bought my mom. My mom had just had surgery, and so she couldn't like walk around or like move around that much. And so he's like, "I'm going to buy you a Nintendo," because she was going to be at home all day for a couple months recuperating. And he bought her the Nintendo, and every day, the only thing my mom could do was walk up to school and walk me home. And then she would be exhausted. And so we'd sit down and we'd play Nintendo together. And then she recovered and stopped playing. And I was like, this is now
Like,
mine.
this is my
Yes,
life.
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about the same age for me, roughly 6 or 7 or 8 maybe when the Nintendo came out. And
It was like that was the
So it was
thing.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
See, mine was there. At
But
some
that's the
point,
thing
somebody
is-
had a 2600.
My parents never
at
played
our
it with
place.
me. I played it
Out
with
of showing
friends, right?
stage.
So, like, all the friends had the Nintendo, but each one had different
on,
accessories. So,
let's-
like, let's go over to this guy's
do
house.
this,
We
play
played
this.
Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
Let's go to that guy's
Oh,
house.
That's how it was at first. There was only
Yeah.
one of our friends in the whole
Yeah.
apartment complex who had the Nintendo first.
Right.
And we were more excited to go over to his house.
Oh, yeah.
Just watch
To watch him play. We didn't even ask to play it.
totally.
Now, in retrospect,
wanted
that
to see
should have been
it.
like, hey, bitch,
Yeah.
it's my turn. You die.
Share the
Take some
fucking
turns.
controller.
Yeah.
But we were all just like, this is the fucking coolest thing. Why don't you play Mario?
Oh, yeah.
It was just Mario.
Yeah.
There was no, like, he had Duck Hunt, but we just watched Mario.
No, I remember
Over and
having
over
like the
and over.
few I had like a couple
I was
rich
older.
friends in elementary school, and I remember like the first one who got a Genesis, and the first one who got a Sega CD,
Oh, yeah.
and a PlayStation. It was all this shit where it was just like, oh my god.
But I'm an arcade kid though. Like that's the difference for me.
God.
Like I grew up like my first thing was a 2600. We had one, or my dad got one, or borrowed it from somebody, and it was like tanks in the games that they have now. But like I would go to the arcades.
Yeah.
I would like get any money I could get, and like I'd spend summers in Key West with my mom, and the whole plan was just any money anybody gave us. There was an arcade downtown that me and a couple friends would go to. This is like 10, 11 through there, and it was all about arcades. You went to the arcade. Nobody had money for a game
I
system.
loved
Yeah.
going to
So it was
arcades.
like, I just lived in the arcade as much
I feel
as
like I
could in
was
the
a
arcade.
worked in an
kid at the
arcade
end of the
for, like,
arcade
3 years.
era.
Yeah.
Like I was a kid. This was probably the early '90s when fighting games were like the shit.
Yes.
And so-
Combo.
Like that was like every single day was
Street
like
Fighter, dude.
yeah,
Yeah,
playing
Street
Street
Fighter,
Fighter,
like-
all the Mortal Kombats. Like
Yeah.
when Mortal Kombat 2 came to like the local arcade, it was like holy fuck. But I was so bad at fighting games that I just missed the arcade bandwagon.
Yeah.
because that's what it was.
But
all
I was
about.
into them before that.
Yeah.
Like
See,
when I
that's
would
the-
go to
yeah.
the arcade, there were a ton of other games I was into that weren't that. Like I remember
Yeah.
when those got big, but in my mind, I'm remembering like when Street Fighter became sort of big. Like it was also out for Nintendo. Like you could get
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
and
you could
I
get it,
was
yeah.
good at that. Actually, I was better at that than I was here. Mortal Kombat was the only thing I was actually good, and only because my uncle worked in an arcade. And when that game got released in the arcade, he let me spend the night there. And
That's awesome.
The system came in after they closed. We spent the night. I spent all fucking night learning everything I get. And there's no internet, so there's no cheat. You didn't know the cheat codes. It literally was trial and error. And coming from Street Fighter,
it's completely
why is there a block button? This fucking sucks. And like I hated it. But I was like, but it's cool. So like I learned rated overnight. The next day after school, I came in and there was kids trying to play, and I was like, oh, can I get next? And it was only one game. There was only one system. So you put your quarter up, and I waited, and I got up, and I was like, what's up, dude? What's up? And I fly across and like, what? I remember my uncle like walking by shaking his like, you fucking bastard.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, that was short-lived because there were little Asian kids who stayed there a lot longer than me. Yeah. Like the kids who were on Street Fighter, like I could never touch them, dude. They could like talk to somebody while they were like, "What's up?"
I remember
Dragon Punch across the screen. I'm like,
for some reason, I gravitated toward Virtua Fighter and played the hell out of Virtua Fighter.
I watched kids,
but I worked at the arcade at the time, so I could like in the morning, no one would be in there except for
you open it up and did the click,
except for the Thursday that like the buses came and just dumped truckloads of kids into the place. And I'm like, fuck, I got to deal with this, but. Yeah, I just go up and like, I'm cleaning games, and then I go upstairs and play Virtua Fighter for like 3 hours straight. That's awesome. And then people would roll in, and I'd be like, hey,
that was like a dream job to me.
Get off duty, take my orange shirt off, and just start playing kids, and they'd be like, how the fuck is this guy? But then I remember there's this one guy who was like 5 years older than me that came in, and I played him, and he played like Akira, who was the last guy, who was like the boss of the whole game, and he fucked everyone up because Akira was the only character that had counters to every type of other character's move. He was like
because it was the boss.
Yeah, he was like the judo champion, so he could counter everything. This guy knew every counter to every move, and you couldn't beat him. He was
Think about that though in your head though. There was no internet.
No,
you literally unless there was, and there weren't even books for arcade games that came out that gave you that shit. It was literally like some friend fucking sat there for hours and probably $20 or $30. I was like, check
in a 30-hour week.
Any one of those games is because I mean I played a little bit of the Street Fighters and stuff, but mine was more of like R-Type. You guys remember that game? Yeah. And like those are the games that I played a lot. And
Battlefield 1942.
But and those like those types of things.
Ninja Turtles.
The X-Men, the Simpsons.
Oh yeah.
You know those ones.
The little 4-player ones.
Yeah.
That was like the roller rink. Every roller rink birthday party was me like, fucking take off the skates. I'm playing 60.
Exactly.
Fucking skating in a circle. This is ridiculous.
What was the one with the little
video game?
What was the one with the little racing with the monster trucks?
Oh man, off-road.
We played it. Me and you played it.
And every time you use it, you use the nitro. I was like, and you would just like buzz and do like a lap within 30 seconds.
Gauntlet was mine.
Gauntlet's
good old Gauntlet.
Yeah.
We have Gauntlet here. We have like an arcade box here that's got like preloaded a whole.
Yeah, we have one at our place, and I do Joust and Robotron like every day.
But the crazy thing with those games, the crazy thing with those games is like they don't take that long to beat. If you had enough quarters, you can finish the entire game in about 15 minutes.
Dude, Paul just posted. That's so awesome because that fucking game is something I love too. Silent Scope actually had the gun.
Yeah.
Which was
you looked into.
You had to look through the scope, right?
And Paul made a good point that it's impressive that you never contracted ping pong.
Because you would get up on that shit. You as a kid, you're like, I don't give a fuck. I put my mouth on it.
His eye and face on it.
I actually stood on it. I think I rubbed my balls on it.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure. It just seemed like people had better morals back then.
Yeah,
you weren't just up there with your butt on the thing like.
Korean dude, you hit the nail on the head. That was my other shit. That was another one in Key West. I remember when it came because I skateboarded.
That's awesome.
And there was always the one or two people who'd be like, "Oh look, I'm on the half pipe," and they would do the moves that you're like, I did like the one where you could power slide down and get like a multiplier bonus. I'm like, who would know to do that? When did you learn to do these? Nowadays, like if fucking Sean's over is like, hey dude, I just learned how to do this. I'd be online and I say going, we'll watch this. I'm gonna fucking learn.
Did you guys ever play this one? It was a driving game. And it was like in a big red box, and it was kind of like virtual sort of thing where like you had to
driving. I think it was either hard driving.
I think that's what it was, and you had to start it with the key.
Yeah.
If you had chose stick, you had to like push in the clutch,
and you had to go.
They had the loop. Mm-hmm. They had the loop. That game was
it was virtual
because it was supposed to be so like realistic. It
Yeah.
wasn't like a crazy thing.
no.
So it was the whole
But as a kid,
I'm
though,
driving.
I'm driving.
And it was like
Exactly.
serious. Like
Drive.
driving stick was like I remember playing it for the first time and
You would
stalling
drive
my
and
car.
Yeah, you stall your car,
It was like,
like
nope.
getting it in reverse. It would just be like, nope. Why can't I do this? It was a nightmare if you did not know how to drive. But I didn't know about stick and how to drive stick. I just thought it was cool looking.
Yeah.
And like older guys were around me playing when I first saw it. So they're like, "What are you gonna do, manual?" And the guy's like, "Oh fuck no, I'm gonna do stick." So then when they left, I was like, "Oh yeah, do stick." Why can't I even start?
And you're like,
And
this
then
is
it's
the
like-
worst game
And
ever.
it's like counting down. Like
It was
you
like
only
$1.
have,
Yes.
like,
It was like $1 or $2. It was an expensive
Yeah.
game.
it was
You get in there and you just
incredibly
redline.
frustrating.
Like I'm not
moving.
Is it neutral? It's like,
And it would show your crash after you did it, and like this big camera
Paul's on the
sweeping
ball
move.
here, dude. He pulled up the old Wikipedia for hard driving. All I remember,
Todd the intern,
there was that
man.
game when I'd walk into the big arcades
Killing
and
it.
Afterburner, which was
Oh,
the whole
Afterburner.
fucking
Yes.
thing that was on the
Oh,
gyro. You
God.
get in there,
Terminator
like,
2, baby.
yeah.
It's
Terminator
fucking-
2.
In Terminator 2, he's in there playing it.
Yeah, that's
the whole
that's
thing,
where
like,
when
right, it moves around.
he goes to get him.
Yeah.
it was like
That
on
was hot
gyros
shit.
and hydraulics.
There were lines for that game when it first came out because it was like one of the first arcade games that moved around.
And it
when
was
we were
just
in it.
like Sega had a couple maybe a decade, at least 5 years of just like every arcade game they
God,
did
yeah.
was better than the last. Like
hell yeah.
amazing Space
Hell yeah.
Harrier,
Playing Altered Beast?
Afterburner, and
Altered
Altered
Beast,
Beast,
yeah,
and like
they-
Golden Axe,
yeah,
and it's
they-
like fuck you.
They were
You
gold.
guys are amazing.
No, they were. They were gold for a while.
Those guys are incredible.
They are.
Many hours playing Paperboy. Paperboy actually
Paperboy.
had
I
the
loved
had the bicycle
Paperboy.
handles. I think that's what it was.
loved that
Any
game.
novelty arcade
Oh
game
my God.
that had some
And the
kind of
dog, you had
attachment
to
other
avoid
than
the
a
dogs.
joystick, you're like, I want to play the one with the periscope. I don't
Have
know
you
what
ever
that game
seen-
I would
is.
play the
Punch
bike
Out?
handles. I rode a bike here, but I'm still going to play a
I always
bike
love. I love the
game. So
motorcycle
exciting.
game that the motorcycle actually
Yes.
aimed.
Oh, yeah.
But wait, if you guys
hot
played
shit.
Punch Out Arcade, which I just recently saw for the first time, was a dual screen. Was
I
two
think
screens.
I remember it. Weren't like that's not the one we had the virtual like. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That game was nuts.
but it wasn't as good as like Nintendo's Punch Out, and you
they-
wanted it to be,
they
but it wasn't.
perfected it on Nintendo's Punch Out. But the only reason I saw it was there's a place in Glendale where the place where you guys probably got your arcade machine from, and definitely where we got ours.
Yeah.
There's a place in Glendale that sells arcade machines. They're one of like a few that have so many. They're a warehouse, and we went. They did like Disneyland had a thing
They have
for
pinball
Tron.
games there too.
They have pinball. They have old school.
Is
new
it that
school.
blue
is that what they
building
did,
off
the
San
Twins Arcade
Fernando?
stuff?
Yep. And
We
it's
gotta bring
amazing.
Jason Mayer on, who is a guy who works here who collects pinball machines, video
It's
games.
incredible.
He sends me stuff for auctions now all the time because there's a driving game called Initial D based off the Sand, and that's something someday I want to own.
Yeah.
It's a side-by-side driving game where you drift Japanese hills and stuff.
That's
and,
awesome.
and it's one of the arcade games that actually printed out a card for you.
and
I think
then
we
you
talked
have
about
to save.
that you could put back in and save. It's just this little
okay.
card. It's a shit. I'm at the mall the other day up in Valencia. The arcade in there, as I'm walking through, Dylan's like, I want to go in there. Like, there's a playground right here. She can play it. But she sees everything flash. She's like, Daddy.
Right
She
on.
knows me. I'm like,
Sensory
of
overload.
course
Yeah,
we're going in the arcade.
Oh!
was
So we
planning
walk
on that
in
shit
there,
before you said it.
and she's like doing her thing, and I'm looking at and there's
my
price
girl.
tags. So the company who sold them there,
yeah.
and I look at her, I'm like, it's like I push my daughter to the side. I'm like initially, because I see it up there, I'm like, initially, I'm like $2,000. And in my head, I go, I could probably do that. It's like for some reason, all of a sudden, my childhood dream was coming in front of me. I'm like, I maybe
It's
can
like
make
big
this.
all over again.
Where the fuck am I going to put a goddamn? I mean, it is a full size 2-seater racing game. That hit me all of a sudden. I'm like,
You'll find a place.
as a
Just find
kid,
a place.
I would have
Make
just
it work.
bought it.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody had handed
Yeah.
me 2,000,
Park
like,
on the street,
this is
you
for
put
your
it in your
college
garage.
fund.
Yeah.
This is
That's
for your
where you
car
live.
someday. I would have bought that.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, hey,
You
Dad,
got a
I bought
spot.
that. And
You
my
got a
dad would have
spot
been like,
right in the
well,
middle
where
of
the
your
hell is this
cubicle.
going?
Exactly.
Well, you know what the
I
worst
had no
thing
plan.
about
I
these
just was
are?
going to buy it.
The worst thing is the upkeep is the most expensive part.
totally.
Because that place. So we were looking into buying a Crazy Taxi machine, which is my favorite
that's
arcade
awesome.
game of all time. And
That
they
you got
said
me
it was
hooked on a cruise ship.
$2,000 for the machine, and they said it's an extra $2,000 for I think it's 2 years
For support?
of support.
Wow.
And that's what they make all their money on
Yeah.
is they support because nobody does
That's
it.
what Jason said. Jason said
Yeah.
that's the biggest problem with those things.
Yeah.
It's like something goes out, like there's just it's tough to get, especially the older machines. It's tough to get any of the diodes or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
goes out on
Yeah.
those. So Paul sent sent over the image. If you click on it, it's for the Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, with the
Oh,
gun game
boy.
where you sit in the Jeep and you
Nice.
shoot
Yeah.
guns Machines. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They had that at Disneyland over by Space Mountain for the longest time.
They had Crazy Taxi there too.
Do they really?
They had one of the best arcades right there by Space Mountain. Like it was perfect. I don't know what it is now.
It's still an arcade though, right? But it's not. There's a lot of
probably all
not
DDR and bullshit.
They used to have like the
changed it to, like, a Wreck-It
Afterburner
Ralph thing
style
for a while.
thing where when you got in, it was actually you were encased. So it's like, it was like Afterburn where it moved, but you were actually encased and the whole thing could actually spin around.
5-point harness to get in there?
Yeah, like you got in. There was a line. It cost like $10 to play it for like 2 minutes or something like that.
Did you guys ever do?
It's like battle.
That's what I was going to say. What was that called? BattleTech?
Yeah, I think it was.
Where it was in
that?
Costa Mesa. I think you would go, and I think there were a bunch of these.
It was like going to
like laser tag.
Yeah, it was like going to laser tag or Great America because they were only in certain locations, and it's essentially there were 4 units that were networked together, and you were in a battle bot.
You were playing like Mech Warrior.
What? It was
You're
a mech.
in like
you're in like the thing,
and there's a shitload of
there were like
buttons.
50
shit that only happens in California because it did not happen.
I remember
there was one in Chicago. It was at
I've never heard about this.
It blew my mind. I remember
at
my
Navy
aunt took
Pier.
me to it.
Did you control it?
You could, so they were like simplified controls.
You had 2 joysticks
and
and like a steering column.
But there were a shitload of buttons that you could press.
It looked like the shuttle. It looked like the inside of the space shuttle. It was just
and
like
you had to watch a video
58,000
before you went in.
Can we do
was
this now?
everyone was in character.
Right? So what?
It still exists.
Yeah.
Does it
Still
really?
in Costa Mesa?
I don't know if it's still there, but it was like, it was fucking nuts. And I remember being like 12 years old and my aunt taking me to it and not knowing, she's like, we're going to this arcade. And I'm like, okay. And we get there and I just was like, what the fuck is this? Like,
That sounds
are you kidding me?
amazing.
This is all I want as a kid.
What?
There was
How's
some
that
serious
not still
shit.
going? I
don't know.
Like
I don't know.
sick-ass
It's
concept.
probably worse than I remember.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
So you both
Totally.
are really hyped.
Yeah.
To
Totally
me
not
right
as
now,
cool.
this sounds.
It's probably
just
pretty
like
Pretty
gold.
sure it cost like $100 to do it.
I'm talking
for
about
50
Nerdtastic
minutes
road
or
trip to
something.
whatever you guys just talked about.
Well, they had a virtual reality place too, which was about the same as Battle
really?
It wasn't BattleTech, but it was virtual reality, and you had to drive like an hour to get there.
Oh, yeah.
And you put the goggles
You put
on,
a
and you'd
thing
be
on.
standing in a ring,
Yeah.
so you couldn't fall out because you were tempted to walk around, but you didn't walk around. You had a joystick that was kind of like.
I'm going to get you.
You had a joystick that was kind of like the PlayStation Move joystick, and that helped you move around. And then you would like aim it like a wand, and it had this little gun. And
Was
you
this
could-
virtual reality?
This is like the first thing where you could like turn it, and it would like track
move
the
with you.
angle
Yeah.
of the gun, and you had to aim, and you had it was like a little Nerf ball at the end of your gun, and you would go pink, and it would go ew.
Yeah.
And you could shoot other people, and there were pterodactyls that would fly down, and they'd grab you, and they'd fly up and drop you, and you see guys go, "Ah," and then they like explode into 100 pieces. But you could like shoot the pterodactyls, and you could shoot other people, and it was pretty much just a point and shoot game. The lag was awful.
Like everything was awful,
But
but
everyone always tried to shoot the pterodactyls down. It was impossible because you'd fire this ball and it would go, "Bleh," and it would just have the terrible trajectory. I was able to shoot a pterodactyl down as it
you were.
came towards me.
Of course you were.
Fucking
Nobody was
Fucking
able to do
God.
this. I didn't.
But those were the 2 things that, like the 2 gigantic
Click
game
on,
things
click the
that I
link,
remember.
click the link, or copy the link.
No
Paul. I
idea
think
what
this
it was
is
called.
it. It's called BattleTech.
Robotech.
This is but he posted a picture of the Chicago
the
thing.
Chicago
Oh,
Robotech
okay.
Center.
That's pretty. They look like I don't know cryogenic pods.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Totally it.
You telling me they convinced you guys to get in these things? Like, come on, kids, get right in.
So cool, man.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I fucking want to do it.
They had
went ape
Tank
shit.
Wars too, which was similar, but that came out
you got
later.
into like a tank. See this one? Imagine I'm in that. There's 4 of them,
How
and it's
have we
me,
not
my aunt,
grown?
and my mom.
But check this out. How have we not expanded on that?
Yeah.
Because
We've actually gone the opposite. It's like, well, no, we don't want to
Well, you
encase
see, like the big
Was there a lot of
ones,
lots
it's
of,
like-
we don't
Well,
want
it takes up a
to
lot of
encase
space.
you in anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's because
That's
like the arcades have like the 8-person game where you're like
Yeah.
fighting in space and shit, and everyone's playing together. Like they have those now. That was big deal back then because it was a network
still looks
machine.
pretty fucking cool
It
now.
does. It looks cool.
Yeah, I would like want to be encased, so I'm just like,
No, you
it's
wanna be
just
like-
me.
Yeah.
and you know that everyone's
Yeah.
around you, but you have
But I want it
like
to
you
move
feel
around
like
and
you're
be like,
this machine.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
That was the one
we'll
thing
get
about
to
it that
something
didn't
like
move.
that.
But I think that this to
Oh,
me,
if it was on hydraulics or
it
something
was
like that.
that's what
Oh,
I
my
want.
God.
The thing with it is, this is
Pacific
why
Rim. We have the opportunity.
we can
now.
do it now. We have the license. No, I think the big thing with this, is the reason I feel like arcades dying and this stuff dying. It makes me think like, oh, in 10 years. There aren't going to be movie theaters because it's like as TVs get
everything's so
bigger,
immediate.
and that's the thing is like as you got a 360 now, like why would you go to an arcade when you get like back in the day? Remember when like the arcade version was The
That was
version.
the
the
version.
most
And you play
highest
a
quality.
Genesis version, it would be like, this is kind of a shitty version of this.
Yeah.
Now they're
Unless
the
you
same,
had the
and it's
Neo
like, why do I
Geo,
like
'cause
this?
Well,
that was
fighting
They're not even the same. They're
fighting games.
home
is a
ones
big
are
deal.
better.
Yeah.
The fighting games do nobody. It's like if
Yeah.
you said you were good at the Super Nintendo version of Street Fighter,
like,
you'd be like, whatever,
Yeah.
Okay.
and you walk away. And like,
Yeah.
how you at the
Yeah.
arcade, dude? What's up?
Yeah.
It's like taking all your buddies to like the LAN, like the company that hosts the LAN games for
Yeah.
you.
Now, but like say the Evo tournament now, do they? Because they still do sticks, right? They still use the
But
actual
you bring
gamepad
your
sticks.
You bring your own.
Yeah, but you're not playing with a controller.
No, you're playing
You
with
are
a
playing
stick,
with the stick
and
still.
it's plugged in.
Sure.
Because when you're like that insane, like in it, it's like
But
the
that's still arcade
milliseconds
stuff.
of
We
a
haven't,
Bluetooth.
yeah, but we
Yeah,
still
it's
haven't
too
got but we still haven't got away from like arcade as far as that
No.
goes. Like people still want like the good players still
Yeah.
want the sticks.
They still want the sticks, but I feel like now that you can do everything at home, it's just like, just do it at home. You know, it's like, oh, wow, I want to go get plugged into a mech, and it's like, you got a 70-inch TV at home and surround sound, like, you don't need to go in that. And I feel like that's what's going to happen with movie theaters. Like, it's more and more difficult for me to go see a movie. Like, I moved like 5 blocks away, and I used to be walking distance from the Sherman Oaks ArcLight, and now I'm like, I have to get in the car, and it is so difficult.
Shit, where's my tiny violin?
Well, no, but that's the thing. It's like I feel like such an
you do,
idiot
you get
that like I'm like,
acclimated.
fuck this. I'll just find something like I
Wait,
have a
you're
million
driving
ways to
5
watch this.
blocks?
Yeah, it's not 5, but maybe it's like
You're really close
20.
to Josh.
More like 5 miles.
I think I'm really.
you guys
close
must
to him.
really because he's like 3 or 4.
We
blocks.
raced once. We were on the 101 getting home
Drag
from
racing.
this, and I cut him off, and then started laughing, and I just started like driving it, and his car is much faster than mine, and I just suddenly out of nowhere, like I completely forgot about it, and suddenly I hear, "Woo!" and I look over, and Josh is doing like 100,
Oh yeah,
like overcompensating to get around me.
He's literally going to put people in harm's way
Yeah,
to,
and I was like,
to beat
I
you.
drive a Volkswagen Jetta. This thing goes 35, and then it explodes.
I also
So-
do miss all of the special like cheat codes with up, down, left.
Oh,
left.
That's
Those
what
were
Gary just
so
put in here. He's like, "What
nostalgic.
game's that for?" And I just wrote in Contra. Is
Yeah.
where that
Yeah,
started.
it's from all
but
of
that,
them.
I mean, Akari Warriors is the one I remember as a kid as well using it for. Which that's the only way you could even get to the end of that game was
Yeah,
using
and
cheat codes.
the history of it was they put it in because one of their programmers couldn't beat a game. I forget what game it was, but it was something like Akari Warriors.
It was designed because it was an arcade game,
Yeah.
and it was designed to spend money on. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
scenarios that happen. Same as like Battlefield 1940. There's scenarios designed in the game.
They're
I
just
read
impossible.
that are made to kill. There's
Yeah.
they can probably make an argument that somebody could get. You can't. There's just
Yeah.
times where you're going to lose lives
Yeah.
to spend quarters.
Have you ever seen it's like in Wayne's World when they're talking about, he's like, we have this one game, it gets to level 2, and there's this cube, and you can't open it, and the kids keep putting quarters in. And when we were talking about doing like, Candy Crush and those games, when people talk about those, I always like send them the link to that YouTube video.
Fucking ET, dude. 2600. ET. It's a game that he wanted to design an end. There's no end, right? And that the thing that I thought
there
that
was.
I think you can, but it's
You
like
can, it was just
super
impossible.
impossible.
I
because
thought
it's
you
completely
couldn't do it though.
random.
That's what I thought. I thought
Yeah,
you
I think
couldn't
it's
do
like
it.
1 in a million because it's so random. You just jump into holes, and I think if you jump into the wrong hole,
They showed the
Well,
Conan,
there
the
was-
Conan O'Brien fucking sketch, dude, where he's playing it's the best. It's like, what the fuck? Hey, why did we end up down here again? Do I eat the food? What do I? And the guy's trying to explain it to him, and he's like, "Hey, this is the worst game ever that was designed. I'm sorry."
No, but you're right. It wasn't beatable. For a while, it wasn't
what I
beatable,
thought it
and then
wasn't.
it got patched to
Oh,
be
yeah.
beatable.
That's I was
was,
right
I
because
think,
I
yeah, the
read like
original release
you
was.
couldn't.
Yeah, we
you just
talked about
couldn't.
that.
Like
It
the
was
game
impossible.
wasn't designed to beat, and somebody like wrote like
Yeah, they wrote-
one line of code to.
Can
to
we,
fix it.
just because we're
That's
talking
right.
about it, that was a super expensive game that failed, can we just bring up really quickly that apparently the budget for Grand Theft Auto 5 is greater than any piece of entertainment ever made at $260 million.
Shut up.
Now, there's some discussion.
I mean,
there's
it looks
some
That's
pretty
true?
Of what?
fucking cool.
A couple million?
No.
I
There's some
What?
discussion that incorporates the marketing budget, which is probably astronomical.
Still, but that's
Still,
still if you talk
crazy.
like
It beats
Avatar
everything.
or anything else,
It
that's
beats
still
everything.
above all that.
They put
Jesus.
a stock exchange in the game.
Yeah,
Are you
working.
serious?
Yeah.
Trade
You can
stocks
trade,
in
yeah.
the
You
game.
can't,
It's
dude.
fucking
Yeah.
nutty,
And
man.
their online mode, which comes out I think 2 or 3 weeks after the game, their online mode is a straight up MMO. And it's just their mode. That's a mode that you can pick is fucking Grand Theft Auto MMO.
Oy.
So you just go in there and fucking trade.
Tons of licensed music.
Yeah,
Paul just made a good
yeah.
point.
But to hit 200,
266 million.
fuck.
Yeah.
It's a lot, yeah.
Can you imagine trying to play that game in an arcade?
It's like it's the ultimate sandbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
that
it's
point,
Second
right?
Life, but you can
Yeah.
kill people.
Well, yeah.
way better graphics,
But it's a game.
and
Yeah.
a way better engine, and
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
better. Lots of
Unfucking
things.
real. And it's coming out, 2 months before new consoles?
Was anybody
And it's all
getting
the
that?
old hardware.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is anybody getting?
I'm doing
I
that.
pre-ordered
100%,
it. I pre-ordered it already. I'm like,
Did you?
I'm gonna play.
Are you
the
doing it
hell
on
out of
Xbox?
that game. Yes. I
Okay,
think
I'm
so.
doing it on Xbox. Pecco can't do it because he's an idiot. He doesn't have an Xbox.
Is
Doesn't play
that
on
one of the
Can you-
games that they're
I have a PS3,
co-releasing
can I
on
play it on that?
Xbox 360
No.
and one?
I don't know why.
Liz, nobody plays that system. You bought it. I couldn't
I didn't
believe
buy it.
you weren't here to yell at. You guys let her get a fucking PS3. I
This
did,
is-
Jay.
No, this is what I said.
Pecco,
There
I
were two
expected
things.
more.
One
Yes.
is Ben's dad has an Xbox.
He does.
And so
You thought
I instantly said he should get an Xbox, and then I was like, well, if he's already got one at his dad's place, like, why not have a PS3 at your mom's place so you
Diversify.
can diversify so we can
Thank
play
you.
both types of games? That's the one thing I said.
Paul
Like
said that
being,
he'll
like,
shoot people.
bilingual.
you Disney folk and your diversification.
It's
They've been
being,
selling
like,
that since I was a
bilingual.
Disney character.
Paul said that he'd shoot people in the face with you on PS3 list. So.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
I mean, who gives a shit? Like, I have all of them. Like I do
No, you
not
buy
discriminate.
like,
Give me
hey,
a
you're there.
break.
I was gonna say, Curtis buys everything.
This is a new console. Shot.
Done.
How much?
How much?
Speaking of that,
Do you still
I
have
saw
all
that
of your
we-
old consoles that you?
I have most of them, but like I'm so not attached. I haven't sold them, but they're all like in my parents' garage or something.
dude, the Ouya is at Target.
I know.
I was at Target. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's up on a shelf. I don't think people know what the hell it does. It's
No.
up on the shelf. With
It's
like,
up on the shelf,
here,
but
buy
nobody's
game
bought
cards,
one.
buy Xbox Live cards, and oh look, the Ouya is in a box. It looks like just a controller.
The Korean Killer remembers from last week. I
She got it
for free.
Oh well, then. Yeah, of
Which
course
that's
it's
the only
right.
way Gary would get one too, because we make fun of the people all the time when we're playing Xbox. Fucking
Well,
PlayStation.
laugh it up, fuzzball.
Yeah, and listen, there was a
It
time
was
we've
free.
talked about it. PS2. That was my. I didn't
Yeah.
buy an Xbox. I didn't own one.
That's why you can't be loyal to a company because like every year there's a new good. Like I think PS4 is probably the console to get this.
How's it? Ouya?
You know,
Ouya getting a lot of play at the house.
So
It's
there's
on my desk at work, not
There's
plugged in.
probably a way to make arcades
boy.
come
Oh, wait,
back
is that
in
the
a big
thing that you
way
went and
here.
got a couple weeks ago at lunch?
No, that was a PS Vita, which I did
okay.
get with Pecco. We both
Yeah.
got one.
The Vita.
There was a plan. And
So there's probably a way to have arcades come back in a big way here if they were able to work it out, because like in Japan arcades are gigantic
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
and everyone goes to arcades. But the one reason is because you can also gamble. Like all the arcade games are gambling games as well.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can
Like any of
gamble.
them?
Yeah, there's like virtual horse racing, a whole bunch of crazy
That's
shit
awesome.
that take money.
Oh no, I was thinking
gamble
like
and
Street
stuff
Fighter.
that.
You walk up and two people can place bets with credit cards. And like,
That's
no,
pretty
but
cool.
Josh can never
That's
go
a
to this
great-
place.
that's a great
I
idea.
just want to let
You
you
could
know.
push
Like,
things
there's a
that
fucking
way
basketball
here.
game. I got 50 on this. Watch it. He
Yeah.
slicks his card and anybody.
But you can push
anybody?
things that way here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like it's not just for Vegas anymore.
All right. So let's change pace just before we close the show, because
That goes back.
where
Vita.
where the
See the Vita TV,
where
by the way?
where the fuck is okay? Look, we're gonna go the Apple route just because I got to get it out of here.
Yay!
The funniest thing I saw posted after the fact was a post by Gizmodo. It was like one line, and all it said was 5C just released on Apple's site, and they linked to it. $550 for the cheap one. If you
Yeah.
go to the 5S now this is if your plan isn't up for your 2-year
This is
contract
like
and you just want to
unlocked.
buy the phone. I just
Yeah.
want the phone. Maybe like Sean gets the new phone every. The 5S 64, which is the best one you can
Good
buy,
one, yeah.
$850 for a phone.
Yeah, that's how subsidized those fucking things
insane.
are.
Yeah.
The cheap one, the plastic
Yeah.
version they sell now is $550.
$550. That's the problem.
Where are we at
with-
now? That they just want to see if people will spend the
No,
money.
that's the whole like because Apple's big thing when they released the iPhone was they were going to take on the cell phone industry the way they took on the record industry, and they were like, we want to get to a place where you go to an Apple store, you buy a phone, and then you look and you go, who do I want to get service with? Verizon, AT&T, who gives a shit?
All right.
And they realized instantly all the cell phone companies were like, go fuck yourself. They were like, absolutely not. Like you do not understand what a crazy ass monopoly we have, and that's the problem. Is that in order
That's
to
what this
compete,
looked like to me.
They have
This
to
is
subsidize
like-
the shit out of these devices.
But in general, though, that announcement and those prices to me was just like, you fucking mooks are gonna pay $850 for this.
Well, here's the thing: is that they realize that most people like
Are gonna do contracts,
they're just gonna do contracts, and then it ends
but
up
a lot are
realize.
because a lot are the Kearneys.
Yes.
Who are
well,
like-
do you know how we do it? This is perfect, and maybe this might be like 10% of why I married my wife. We're on off years, baby.
Is that what it is?
So this phone was me.
She just always gives you the new one.
Exactly. So she said to me, I wasn't
Such a mooch.
This was such
That's what
a
I'm
minimal
saying, too.
update. I wasn't even thinking about doing it. I was like, I'm going to get a PS4. I just bought a Vita. I was like, maybe I won't do it. And then she said, I really want a new phone, Sean. And she even knew it. I love her so much. She goes, so like, can I just have your phone and then you just buy a new one with my credit because I'm up? And I just was like, yes. Because she did two things. One, she allowed me to get the new phone by giving me her plan, and two, she just encouraged me to do it. Like, now I can't not do it. She's basically
needs
told
a
me.
new
gotten the
phone.
permission.
She wants-
I also want to point out how they're just chanting "Hump Day" in the lobby.
Hump
Okay.
Day!
I don't want to hear about that.
So what do you? All right, I'll let you start. What did you think of the announcement
I think that it
all the new
was
hotness.
so boring.
or their
Like,
lack of?
There's just nothing. They made the perfect phone. I feel like it's Madden. Like, it's like one of those games where
That's a good example. That's a
no,
good analogy.
it's true. It's just like the video game Madden of like 10 years ago. Probably they made the perfect Madden game, and now what they do is every year they do like a little every even year they'll do a little minimal update, and everyone will complain because it's just roster updates. Then the next year they'll do something drastic and they'll change it. And everyone will go, man, you broke something that wasn't. You fixed something that wasn't broken, and you can't win. And I feel that's where Apple is right now. What can you do?
But it's a little different. I think.
There's some cool shit.
Samsung's still
can raise
taking
the price,
tech.
apparently.
Yeah.
They don't market worth a shit. But Samsung has some. Same with Nokia. They have some ridiculous tech in their phone right now that's way better than Apple's.
Sure.
But they don't market.
No.
So then Apple's like, well, I mean, we
But
are
like, there's
Madden.
nothing else that I need. And so that's the thing. And then Apple, then they do the 5-inch screen, and it took me a long time to get used to this shit. I was like, this was so stupid. Why did you do a 5-inch screen? And then I realized, because what else can you do? Like, at the point that they were able to go, like, we have this crazy-ass app store. We can run console-quality games on the goddamn thing. Oh, and by the way, it's a fucking telephone. Like, there's nothing left. They made this thing 5 times faster. The 5C, or the 5S is 5 times faster. For what?
That's
this
right.
thing is so fast. I don't even know what I'd do with a faster phone.
Time travel.
Yeah, exactly.
But what it does is it fucks me up because I have the 4. I don't have the 4S. I have the 4, and basically I'm getting pushed out
Oh yeah.
because now
phased out.
They know what they're
get out,
Welcome to Apple.
They know what they're
It sucks.
Hey,
My
$150 phone.
$2,000 computer. I bought a computer with student loans in college to do editing on, and it was the second to last, or maybe it was the last Power PC Mac before they went to Intel. And they didn't do a gradual phase out of that shit. They went, hey, we got these Intel computers. Hey, all you idiots that bought a fucking $2,000 Power Mac, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You can't update anything. And I had a fucking giant paperweight. Outrageous.
That's what my phone is basically.
And you still
apps are
couldn't
getting
play
harder
games
to
on it.
run. They're like
And
struggling.
I never could play games on it.
My cousins they always had Macs, and then they had the weird ass shit like the Jaguar, and I'm like, what the who plays the Jaguar?
Yeah, because they
So
want to
I
be the
show
one.
up to
They
their
want to
house.
be the courtesy to be like, I had the fucking iPhone. Told you all fuckers.
Yeah.
And you're also like, you also had the Jaguar.
Oh man,
Yeah, Jaguar
Show
was
up
like
to their house and be like,
$800
yeah, okay, you
too.
got any video games we play? I'm like, yeah, I think we can play like
Demolition Man.
What?
They're just. I'm waiting for the
Yeah,
that was
$1,000
a 3DO.
phone.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the $1,000 phone. And obviously,
Mist. That's the one thing you could play at his
Mist.
house. Mist.
it's
You're
almost
playing on
like
Mac,
what they're
yeah.
trying to say about upping and the processor that's in there and everything else. It's trying to say like, hey, we're giving you a personal computer in your hand, right?
Yeah.
It's the. But it's
Welcome
still
to
a
Fifth
fucking
Element.
phone. It's just so.
Yeah.
But that's the
ridiculous to
least
me.
of what it does now. Like,
Yeah,
I
well, and it
probably
doesn't even do
but
that
it
well.
doesn't-
That's the
yeah,
problem.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
I do
talk
think
on
it's
the
funny
phone.
compared to everything
That
else.
3 or 4 weeks after it comes out that the NSA is just spying on us left and right on our fucking text messages and everything, they're like, hey, now you can put your fingerprints in this too.
Yeah.
It's like, what else? Like,
Soon
can I
you'll
put
put
my
DNA in
DNA
it,
so
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
Bob Roberts
Then you can make
it's
copies
gold
of
now.
yourself.
Liz, which Liz is excited
so
about.
excited about the gold.
Liz is all about the gold.
I love gold.
Finger.
I was sold as soon as I saw that. I
He's
was
the
like,
man.
done.
The
Give me the
man.
gold
Oh,
one.
I
I want the
actually-
gold one.
Minus touch.
I have another nerd corner. It's a retro nerd corner thing. But if anyone who is Futurama fans and has not seen the episode where Bender learns to make copies of himself, it is
a funny one.
probably one of the
yes.
best Futurama episodes
Really?
ever made. It's awesome. Bender turns
And I
into the
think-
green goo or the gray goo essentially.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cool. So if anyone's willing to watch a half-hour TV show that's amazing, watch that one. It's so good.
So yeah, so
Can I
I
paint his you gold?
Jay is quoting Goldmember.
I love
The
it.
movie that was purchased for me Like by Chad.
This is a
buddy of mine.
tragedy.
He bought me the movie. He's like, "You've never seen Goldmember?" I was like,
And
"No."
he loves it. He
and he
quotes
loves
it.
it. And he quotes it. And so he like purchased it, which didn't just loan it to me. Didn't so like
He's like, you need your own copy.
Yeah, so I felt obligated to watch it. I fell asleep 45 minutes in, and I cannot bring myself to finish it, even though it was
You still haven't
purchased
watched
for me.
it?
Haven't
You still
finished it. Sitting on top of my PS3. Next to all the PS3 games I know.
The best movie. Pecco's clearly watched this movie.
Oh my god.
Give me my Billy.
So good.
Is that from
So-
Goldmember? No.
So I mean,
First one.
do you
That's
think?
the
Let me
second
ask you this:
Second one,
do you
yes,
think
Fat
now
Bastard.
that just
Fat
it's just going to be like Madden? It's just going. We're not gonna change form factor really at this point. Until
keep
another year,
saying they're gonna make
and
it
making
bigger.
you buy more. Well, here's
is
the deal.
crazy.
Well, the screen size. Here's the deal. Have you seen anybody with a Galaxy or Galaxy?
Yeah,
S?
they're
Yes.
fucking too big. They're
not
huge.
big.
It's a
That screen
5-inch
is-
phone. It's a
That's
5-inch
unreal.
That
screen.
We
screen
were
is
testing on that
beautiful.
last
It is,
week.
but it
It's too
doesn't
big.
fit in my
Beautiful.
pocket.
It fits in your pocket.
No.
It fits in your pocket.
Wear it around
I just think it's a.
I don't wear
anybody who shows
rape
pictures.
pants like
They're
you,
like,
Jack.
they're like, here.
Fits in your pants.
I made my custom Oculus.
Yeah.
That's your phone on your face.
That's outrageous.
Not anybody who grabs it and they're like, hey, let me see a picture, and they'll hand it. We have a couple of people we work with that we're friends with, and they're like, hey, oh no, look at this picture. They hand it over. I'm like, fuck, that looks so much better than this brick of a fucking phone. It's thinner. The image. No, don't shake your head.
I
don't
my
like it.
wife has
I
my
like
old 4S, and sometimes like I'll pick it up and I go like, I kind
You
of
get
miss you.
nostalgic?
I miss you, even though it's too heavy. This thing is so light and beautiful,
Amazing.
but everything else, like,
Well, that is nice.
I don't need a 5-inch screen.
No.
I just
Nobody
want,
does.
I just want
I
a
just
little.
want this in gold.
I just
Well, you
want a
shall get it
penis
soon.
Yoo-hoo
I
gold.
know.
But it's like a weak gold. It's not even
Yeah,
a really
it's
good gold.
champagne
I
gold.
looked at that. I was like, "Fuck!" They
4
didn't.
carat.
You go big or go home,
Yeah.
Apple. Come on, you're the trendsetters.
It is
fucking.
champagne
I want it
gold.
made out of real gold.
Yeah.
If you're spending that much on a phone,
Fine
But did
champagne.
you see the one thing about it? It has a
Exactly.
separate
Champagne,
chip.
yes.
It has a separate chip that all it does is keep track of how many steps you're taking, how much you're moving.
And it can tell when you're running and
if you're running, when you're
swimming.
driving.
it fits in Petco's parachute pants. Of course it does.
So why isn't Pecco here right now? Because he's obviously not doing work.
I know.
We said that every
obviously-
week.
Like, come on, dude.
Petco.
Give me a fucking break. He's sitting at his computer, probably drinking a beer.
So, are you getting the new one?
Yes.
Just because your contract's up and you can get a new one?
No, I don't think my contract is up. I'll
Okay,
go
so
take
you're
a look.
spending the cheapest one $650.
Yeah, are you really doing that? They'll do
It's
a
$650,
thing-
$750, $850.
But that's if like you get nothing.
Well, I
Even
have
if you're
some, like,
like a
crazy
year
credit on
old,
my
they
account.
can do it.
Well,
like
that's what I'm saying. So you have a
prorate
credit?
it.
I have a credit
Well,
on my account. Well,
how much can they prorate off $650, right?
Well, yeah,
To make
and you
it-
can
to
also
make it
you
affordable.
You can trade this in too to Apple
trade-
now.
yeah, here
and
you
the
go.
cool thing
How
about
does that
these-
work exactly?
So because they're subsidized, usually when you trade it in, you'll get almost what you paid for it if you paid $200. Because the thing's depreciated, but it hasn't depreciated to make up for the fact that it's a $700 phone.
Yeah, I mean, if you went
Well, I
in there
think
for the
I-
64 gig version,
Yeah,
you-
this is.
you're
I
not
think
going
I
to give me
paid-
enough to make this worth it.
I lost my other phone, so I think I paid full price for this one when I had to
Wow.
replace it.
That's
So-
amazing.
That's a lot of money.
So then I'll get that credit though.
Are you getting?
Right?
Are you getting?
And then I can get.
Are you
the
going to
gold
upgrade
one.
finally? That's. I mean, that's the whole version
Whenever I get phased out, it's a version and a half. Because I have
because you're
4.
only on
I
the
didn't do the
4.
4S, and then there's
You
the
didn't do the
5,
5.
and now the 5S. So probably not. I'll probably wait till after this one. I probably
Do you want to
not.
trade?
Fennel, I know you're not switching.
Mine.
Probably not.
What do you have? What?
I have a Evo 4G.
Evo 4G.
Okay.
I will say the new Droid looks pretty badass. I think it's just called Droid.
No, that's so
again.
funny. That's,
That one's supposed to have, like,
fucking-
most amazing-
so Katzenberg today did his occasional once every 2 to 3 years. I want to go say hi to a department, and he
Okay.
gets walked around. And today it was funny. Sean and our department.
Was it you?
I
head
walked
or-
him around.
Sean
Whoa.
walked Jeffrey around to our small department,
La-di-da.
and he's awesome as a CEO because he comes to each desk, and he was even more so this time.
he
He's like,
asked
"What are you up
questions and
to?
stuff
Hey,
like
what's
that."
going on?" And I thanked him for letting us do the podcast here, which is the big thing I
nice.
wanted to do. I was like,
Nice.
"Hey, put a face with an M." Like,
Classy.
you know, I didn't thank him for. I should have thanked him for Vegas too. For
Should have
would've gone
high-fived
like,
us too.
but he was
What?
cool. But he
Bring
started
it in.
talking to somebody else.
Vegas?
We took our team after
Yeah,
Rise
he
of the
got us
Guardians
into
to
a
Vegas.
club
He got us
in
through
Vegas.
his assistant, set some things up, and we walked past like 1,000 VIPs, like right into a
Nice.
club. So, anyways, he was talking to somebody else about phones.
No big deal.
So like, when
was
I go to
I was
Comic-Con-
passed out in a hotel room.
Yeah, Josh didn't quite make
I
it. that
didn't
night.
quite make it out. I was.
Did you tell that to him?
He
I really wish I could have been there.
but he made it so clear as he was talking about phones. He said, "Oh, he's like I'm old like this," and he has a BlackBerry.
He's got
So
a
he goes,
BlackBerry
"I got to
still.
learn how to use some new tech." And we're
Yeah.
like, "Dude, you know everyone.
Yeah.
You know everyone in there." And he's like, and he's talking to Justin, the guy behind me, and he's just like, "Yeah." He's like, I was talking to my guy at Verizon, who I guess is the CEO of Verizon.
Yeah.
And he was just like,
My guy
"No,
at
that's the
Verizon.
funny shit about
Not the guy who
Jeffrey.
works
You
at
have
the
to
store.
assume when he's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so I was talking to somebody in Washington. You have to assume it's Obama.
Yeah.
There's nobody else he's talking to. So he's talking about.
Everybody
He's
in
like,
DC.
he goes, I think the Verizon guy was telling. He's like the new droid, and some he's like that's the way to go or something. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing if he's saying that, it's
Yeah,
probably
it's
a
probably.
pretty good fucking phone. I don't know what
It
text
looks
behind it.
badass.
Does
Yeah.
it? I haven't seen anything about
I
it.
think there's lots of really cool Android phones. The problem is it's
there's a
so
lot of them.
fragmented.
Yeah.
You don't know what is
You don't know
what.
what you're gonna
It's
get.
Well, that
like,
Nokia
Jesus.
41 megapixel fucking phone. Dude.
That's pretty neat. Like that's pretty cool. How it does what it does and why.
It's
But the thing is,
ridiculous.
with Apple, they can't do that because Apple can't fragment their market that big.
No.
So they can't make a phone. The Nokia phone is strictly like, hey, is all you want to do?
It's a phone. Well, it's a
take
camera.
pictures?
It's a camera
Exactly.
with the
You can
phone
call.
option.
And if that's the only thing you like you get that. And Apple can't go, hey, if all you want to do is take pictures, because then everyone's like, well, no, I want my phone to
But
do
they should
everything.
focus more on it. It's clear that there's a huge market now of Apple fans.
Well, they
who
have.
they're-
But they
have. The
They
changes
opened,
that they're
well,
doing
they
to
opened
camera
the
stuff's pretty
aperture up a
cool.
little bit, and
And
They've
the
got the
dual
two- the
LED
two
flash
two
is pretty
flashes.
neat.
Come on.
come on, Apple,
Come on.
go fucking big. Seriously,
They're making it for
go-
everybody.
Yeah.
They are the Grand Theft Auto. Like Grand Theft Auto. Name one thing that Grand Theft Auto does amazing. It's an average driving game. It's an average golf game. It's an average yoga game. It's an average. Right? Like it does
Fair enough,
everything.
fair enough,
like
but it
kind
does
of
everything.
meh. But
You're
it does
buying it.
everything.
You're buying it.
But it does
Yeah.
everything.
And the new
I don't
OS
want to say anybody
is
to
pretty
talk
slick.
after that one. That would have been great.
I don't fucking.
And iOS 7 is pretty fucking great.
No, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like we're going to get that.
Yeah.
For
Because
free.
you have to.
And I'm
And it's gonna run so slow on my phone.
Are you
Your phone's
using
gonna
that now?
break your phone.
Exactly.
Are you in the beta program?
I put it, yeah, I put it on my phone right when they first announced it, and it was like super crash-tastic and terrible. But the version they put up right after the keynote is their Gold Master candidate, which is their like. This is probably what's going to get released to the public, and so I put it on my phone and my iPad, and it runs like a dream, and it's pretty badass. Like it's.
I like the little flip
it's
up.
slick.
Like,
Yeah.
The only thing about it is everything's animated now. So like you tap on an app and it like zooms in and all that stuff is cool.
Has it slowed shit down though?
But it just slows it down. Just like it doesn't slow down the actual, but just the act of the animation.
Well, because it's
down.
designed
Takes an
now
extra
for
second.
the. You know what would
Check
make it
this out.
fast? The 5S and $850.
That's true. But I mean,
That'll
just
make it
the
fly.
actual act of
No,
like
it's just
animating
waiting for the
something.
animation to
Yeah,
finish.
it's
It's
like
not-
now I'm like, I
It's
just
not
want to
going to
look at
play
my
faster
email,
because the
motherfucker.
processor is
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah.
It's just here's 1 second.
Well,
of
it would
wait
play
time.
smoother.
Fuck 1 second of wait time. I
And
got
on that
time to
note,
wait.
this has been Nerdtastic In 3, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Nerdtastic.